This is Chris Buescher.
Absolute perfection for Chris Buescher.
The following is a production of the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Drivers, start your engines!
The Motor Racing Network presents
All right, man, be ready here.
NASCAR Live Race Day
Ready. Bring
from Richmond Raceway. Brought to you by Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com.
After a 3-week break to catch their breath from a season-opening 5-month continuous stretch of racing, NASCAR Cup Series teams and drivers are now rested and recharged and ready to resume their pursuit of a championship tonight in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Hello and welcome to Virginia's capital city and the Richmond Raceway Motor Racing Network. Happy you're spending your Sunday night with us and our coverage of the Cookout 400. Mike Bagley and the entire MRN crew on hand with you tonight. It's been a while since we've been with you. Let's get you caught up and let's get you recapped on where things stand in the NASCAR Cup Series garage. This race tonight marks 4 races to go in the regular season before a 10-race playoff run that will crown the 2024 champion. 16 drivers will be playoff eligible at the end of those 4 races, I should say. 12 drivers are already locked in. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Austin Cindric is in. So is Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, and Daniel Suarez. There are 4 drivers right now that are above the cut line. Martin Truex Jr. is 13th on the grid. He is plus 108 above the cut. Ty Gibbs is in by 42. Chris Buescher in by 17. Ross Chastain is in by 7. Bubba Wallace, 7 points out. Chase Briscoe is out by 83. Kyle Busch out by 112. Let's go to the broadcast booth and welcome back Jeff Striegel and Alex Hayden. Gentlemen, glad to have you back in the tower with us. Jeff, we just gave everybody the general broad overview about what to expect in the next 14 weeks, but what about what we can expect tonight in this 400-lapper at Richmond?
Yeah, and good afternoon to you, Mike, as well. I think we really have to start, Alex, with this. Goodyear with 3 types of tire here this weekend. One is the wet weather tire. We should not need that. The other 2, a red and a yellow.
Yeah, the red being the softer option tire. The yellow sidewall painted Goodyear Eagle is the harder compound, which is known as the prime tire. That's been the thing all weekend long. First time in the history of the NASCAR Cup Series for a points-paying race, we're going to give these teams the option on what strategy, which tire they want to put on their race car at any given time. They're also limited on number of sets of tires for the running of the 400 laps tonight. That also will come into play. Crew chiefs, pit crews, drivers, we're going to find out who the best team is tonight.
All right, so Mike was just talking about the playoff picture and the fact that we just had the break, and that break, the opportunity to reset, recharge. For some, refocus. Atlanta lies ahead. 16 drivers looking to race for a championship. Alex, just above, maybe just below the cut line, are there teams looking at one specific race as their golden ticket to the playoffs?
Yeah, Jeff, we're to a point right now, even though we're just coming off of a break, and as Mike pointed out, recharging the batteries, but there are teams that have their hand firmly over top of the panic button. Nobody is in quite desperation mode yet, but there are quite a few teams in panic mode that they say, well, you know what, we got to get it done. You look at Kyle Busch, a 6-time winner here at Richmond Raceway. You got to think this is his best shot at the remaining 4 races. Josh Berry's best finishes in the Cup Series have come on short tracks. You go off to Michigan next week. Chris Buescher's a winner there. He knows how to get the job at places like that. And then Daytona, you look at the front row motorsports drivers like Michael McDowell and Todd Gilliland. They're outstanding racing in the draft.
And Mike, we're getting down to it now. Teams wanting to race for a championship with only 4 races left in the regular season.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. It no doubt is crunch time in the NASCAR Cup Series garage, and it's going to be interesting to see with the unknowns tonight who will be able to capitalize and perhaps maybe turn that playoff leaderboard upside down. We'll check back in with you shortly. Right now, let's check some NASCAR news.
Motor Racing Network NASCAR News.
Last night was the regular season finale for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. For the second time in as many races, Ty Majeski rebound from an in-race penalty to win. At Indianapolis Raceway Park, he jumped a restart at lap 51 and went on to claim the checkered flag. Last night, He had an uncontrolled tire penalty at lap 78 and came back to win the Clean Harbors 250 here at Richmond.
What a fast Soda Sense Ford F-150. Just so proud of these Thor Sport guys sticking behind me. We got to clean up these little mistakes, though, because that could be the difference between transferring to Phoenix and not. So got to clean those things up. But, hey, as long as we can keep getting to victory lane, sky's the limit for us. We're on it right now.
Ty Majeski getting the win here at Richmond with Christian Eckes finishing second. Taylor Gray, Grant Enfinger, and Lane Riggs rounded out the top 5 finishers. So the 10-driver playoff field is set for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Corey Heim is the number 1 seed. It's Christian Eckes in second. Ty Majeski in third. Nick Sanchez fourth. Rajah Caruth is fifth. Grant Enfinger sixth with Tyler Ankrum seventh. Taylor Gray eighth. Ben Rhodes ninth. And Daniel Dye in the 10th position. The first race of the playoffs is the Liuna 175 from the legendary Milwaukee Mile. Motor Racing Network will have that called 2 weeks from today. One other item for you from the NASCAR Cup Series Garage. Trackhouse Racing and Daniel Suarez have announced a 1-year contract extension. More on that coming up. Speaking of coming up, next on NASCAR Live Race Day, we will go one-on-one with Daniel Suarez. We'll talk about that contract extension and his very busy 3-week break. That young man has had a lot going on. He'll detail it all for us. Also, Chris Buescher will stop by. He'll give us the keys to winning tonight's race. Things will be a lot different tonight than he won this race a year ago. Plus, we'll visit with other drivers that will be a factor in winning tonight's Cookout 400 here in Richmond. Getting closer to the command to fire engines, Jeff Striegel, Alex Hayden, and Todd Gordon take over the reins when we return. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You're listening to NASCAR Live Race Day from Richmond Raceway. Now, back to Mike Bagley.
Welcome back to Richmond Raceway, Motor Racing Network on the air with the Cookout 400. Race fans getting settled into their seats for a 400-lapper tonight. We talked about the playoff cutoff line. Ross Chastain is on it. He is in by 7, but in the last 4 races, he's finished no better than 15th. To make the playoffs, they have to stop the skid they've been on as of late. Let's get his thoughts. He'll roll tonight from 22nd. He's with Chris Wilner.
That's right, Mike, but he was really good on the long-run speed in practice, so there is a glimmer of hope for Ross. I know you got a lot of cars to pass at the front, but I talked to your crew chief, Phil Surgeon. The long-run speed seemed to be your guys' strength yesterday. Will that help today here at Richmond for 400 laps?
Well, I have been one of the cars that qualifies really well here and disproportionately finishes really bad. So I've watched cars drive by me. I hope to be one of those cars driving by other people tonight in this jockey Chevy.
What surprised you yesterday running the option tire, the prime tire? Did anything surprise you, or was it pretty much status quo? I know you had to get in a lot in 45 minutes.
How much the red tires, the options, they just got everything covered in rubber. So the track and the car, like this beautiful guy we've got here on the side in his underwear and his jockeys, he was covered, and Josh here got to clean him off. So it was the car was filthy, the track was filthy, and you're going to see a lot of marbles tonight from the Reds, I think.
All right, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Ross Chastain again, 22nd starting position, but don't count him out again. +7 to the good. They're looking big picture strategy here tonight. Jason Toy.
Another one of those drivers doing the same thing. Brad Keselowski getting ready to jump behind the wheel of his beautiful looking Ford here today. 2-time winner here at this track. You got to start deep in the field. What's it going to take to get to the front?
Yeah, I need to climb out of our track position hole for sure. You know, this qualifying efforts haven't been very strong, but our race efforts here have been. And, I'm pretty optimistic about today. We had a really good practice. I feel like we were a top 3 or 4 car, and as this race shapes up tonight, make all the right adjustments, we'll got a good shot at winning.
All right, there you go. Brad Keselowski was able to turn it on late in the last victory here. He's looking to do the same as well to go back to victory lane. Chris?
Of course, remember, Brad Keselowski has already got himself locked into the playoffs by winning at the Darlington Raceway earlier in the year. So half of the Roush Fenway Keselowski fleet is already playoff eligible. It just so happens that in the last handful of weeks or so, Brad will have a challenge or Chris will have a decent run, or the roles would be reversed. Remember, Chris won this race a year ago, and Brad brings up a great point. They always run well here, but he does have to dig himself out of a hole starting-wise. He's starting all the way back in the 29th position. Let's go back closer to the front of the grid. We heard from Ross Chastain a moment ago. He's 7 above the cut line. The driver that is 7 below the cut is Bubba Wallace, but the team has gained a lot of points in the last handful of races. These next 4 will be very critical for him and his race team. Bubba Wallace rolls from the 8th position tonight. Back to Chris.
Well, Bubba Wallace is, again, -7 to the good. So, late season surge, though, has been on your side as far as top 10s. Where's the confidence? Can you continue that rolling here at Richmond?
Yeah, it's kind of like golf. You hit 17 bad shots, and then on the hole 18, you smoke a drive, and it's like, well, damn, now I got to come back. But you have a couple days or a couple weeks before you play again. That's what it felt like. Coming off Indy top 5, you go into the 2-week break, much-needed break. All these guys here work their tails off. So it's nice to see them come back energized and refueled and ready to go and unloaded with a lot of speed. So I made the wrong call for qualifying yesterday for our Leidos Toyota Camry. But my mom always said, anywhere you start, it's where you finish. So I'm listening to her today and see what we can do, but excited for our chances. Just another race. That's what we got to treat it as.
Big picture strategy, or how aggressive you want to be tonight?
Just drive the absolute best that you can, and if you're better than the rest, then you win the race. So that's our strategy.
All right, that's Bubba Wallace, guys. He's going to roll off in the 8th starting position, but again, late season surge has been behind them here as of late. He's going to try to keep that momentum here at Richmond.
Kyle led wire to wire last night, led every single lap, and claimed the Knoxville Nationals for the 2nd year in a row. He's going to need some heroics to win this one tonight, coming from mid-pack. So the stage is set. We've got tire options. We've got drivers that are trying to protect their position above the playoff cutoff line. We've got drivers right below that playoff cutoff line trying to get in. And then we've got drivers trying to throw Hail Marys and score an upset win and join the playoffs. Right now, let's go trackside for pre-race ceremonies here in Richmond.
Please rise as you are able. Remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the Randolph-Macon Academy Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome Senior Pastor of Cornerstone Chapel in Leesburg, Virginia, Gary Hemrick.
Join me in prayer. Father God, we thank you for this beautiful day here at NASCAR. We thank you for the fans. We pray for your protection on the drivers and safety for the pit crews. We thank you for the owners and the sponsors. We remember, Lord, the racing legend, Roy Hendrick. We pray for his family today that you'd bring peace and comfort. Thank you for our troops, and thank you for the privilege of living in the United States of America. Bless the race today in Jesus' name, amen and amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome United States Air Force Heritage of America Band, Staff Sergeant Rachel Coleman.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Coming up, the command of fire engines in the Cookout 400. After a 2-week break, NASCAR Cup Series teams have reconvened at the Richmond Raceway for the Cookout 400. The unknowns of this race tonight have been very well documented. While teams work through strategies to incorporate an option tire into tonight's 400-lapper, there is one thing that's a constant, and that's the challenging nature of this racetrack. Chase Briscoe says a hammer-down approach will not work here.
You know, everywhere we go on the Cup schedule, you're typically running disqualifying laps, every single lap, as hard as you can run. And this is one of the few places we go where, like, if you're a little bit patient early in the run, it actually pays off, and sometimes slower is better. So it definitely is easy to overdrive this place and just abuse your stuff and abuse your tires. And, you know, you don't necessarily understand the penalty you're about to pay until it's too late, but it definitely is a place that I feel like is very easy to overdrive for sure.
Live from Richmond, the NASCAR Cup Series Cookout 400. Next.
Live on the Motor Racing Network, it's the NASCAR Cup Series.
Let's get a big thumbs up. Get ready to rock and roll past the race cars today, pal. Poor boys, let's execute. Have a good day.
Today, the Cookout 400 from Richmond Raceway. Brought to you by Cookout, cooked outdoor style food at max speed. By Geico. Geico's mobile app has 24/7 claim service and on-the-go policy info. Get more with Geico. By O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. Brought to you by Pfizer. By hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Just step in and go. By Straight Talk Wireless. Less dollars, more sense. By Progressive Insurance. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more at Progressive.com. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit ToyotaRacing.com. And by Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco Fuel helps your car reach peak performance.
After the break and ready to race the NASCAR Cup Series tonight at Richmond Raceway. 37 teams, 400 laps. The Cookout 400 live on the Motor Racing Network. My name is Jeff Striegel. Alongside, as always, is Alex Hayden and our championship winning crew chief, Todd Gordon. It's the action track, short track, Richmond Raceway. Alex Hayden, a lot to cover, a lot on the line on a beautiful Sunday night.
It absolutely is. And when you think short track racing as of late, you got to think Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney combined have won 5 of the last short track races. So could they be the favorite? You know what, Jeff? Given all that we have going on tonight, the different tire strategies that'll play out, I think this thing is wide open.
Absolutely is, and we're about to find out as we take you now trackside here at the Richmond Raceway for the command to get this thing started.
Richmond Raceway, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Please welcome Cookout representative Rue Reeves.
Drivers, start your engines!
The wait is over. 37 engines come to life down on the grid. Coming up, it is the Cookout 400 Richmond Raceway. It's next, and it's live right here on the Motor Racing Network. Welcome back to the Richmond Raceway. The field now rolling off the end of pit road. It is the Cookout 400 for the NASCAR Cup Series, live on the Motor Racing Network. Stage 1 done at lap 70. Stage 2 at lap 230, then 170 more to the black and white checkered flag. We're ready now to put them under the green flag in just a handful of laps. So let's take a quick swing around the racetrack and bring in one more voice ready to call the action for you here tonight on the action track. Outside turn number 3 from Milford, Delaware. Welcome once again, Mike Bagley.
Thank you, Jeff, and good evening again, race fans. We have made the climb. We're high atop turn 3, and the field is right now pulling onto the racetrack to check the Richmond Raceway for the first time. The corners are banked 14 degrees. The track is plenty wide to get the job done. The question is, will the drivers have the car, and will the tires cooperate enough to get off the bottom of the racetrack and maybe step out in that second, third, or fourth lane? The restarts last night in the Truck Series race were incredible. Breathtaking restarts. We expect the same tonight, but what we don't know is how the option tire and the prime tire will interact with each other, and drivers on one set versus drivers on a different option of tire. There's a lot going on tonight at Richmond. We're high atop turn number 3 to cover all of the action over the course of this 400 laps here tonight.
Now let's take a final sweep down the pit lane for a thought or two before the drop of the green flag. This trip to pit road is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Start at the exit of the pit lane over in turn number 1. That is Jason Toy.
Alex, you know, when we arrived here on Friday, it was almost like the first day of school again for all of these crews and everybody, on all of us that work in the garage area, because we haven't seen anybody for the last 3 weeks to get back at it. That off-period time was important for the drivers, A, to get regrouped, get away, do some other things with the family, get reacquainted with the family. But more importantly for the pit crews, they were able to take a rest, which is a great thing. Actually, with a great thing with 2 weeks off, they were able to shut down the shops for at least a week to give them some time to spend with their families. They're on the road all the time, just like the drivers are. But the pit crews were excited to get that little break, and they are excited to get back to work here tonight. They're definitely going to be busy here tonight, be it thinking on top of that pit box or the action they'll have out here on pit road. Chris Wilner.
Well, Jason, the return from the Olympic break has left 3-time winner this season, Christopher Bell, without his crew chief for the next few races. Adam Stevens was sidelined following double knee surgery after a diving board accident while on vacation. So car chief Chris Sherwood will make his debut on the box, calling the shots this weekend. Stevens already has been back at the shop in Huntersville, North Carolina, and he's also in communication with the team from the team's war room. They're even custom fitting a new seat right now at the shop to help Stevens when he returns to the racetrack. It's a slight hiccup from status quo. It comes, though, at a time that Christopher just told me it's the best position he's been in his career heading into the playoffs. They've got 7 top 10s in the last 11 races. He told me here at Richmond, no matter how the Saturday goes, their Sundays have always been better. Well, they're coming off a really good one. Top 5 in practice. They qualified 5th, his best at Richmond. He was 6th here in March, and with a good track still ahead in the schedule, Christopher Bell is eyeing a surge into the postseason.
Well, there's your broadcast team. Jason Toy, Chris Wilner. They are on pit road. Mike Bagley outside, turn number 3. My name is Jeff Striegel. Alex Hayden is here as well, and the championship winning crew chief, and that's Todd Gordon. And Todd, question for you. We are coming back after a break, a long break, as an organization, and you've done this before. What do you do during that downtime? Is it a matter of reset and refocus?
I think it's an opportunity for all the guys that travel week in and week out to get a reset and to get away for a week and try to get just some family time and just mentally kind of refreshed. I think this is important. I don't think that most of these shops had their lights shut off. I think that there's so much support cast that still works at the shops that continue to work forward on these last 4 races to prepare themselves for the playoffs. But yes, a lot of these traveling race teams, I think, got an opportunity to take, a 5 or 6 day vacation away from the shop, get away from it, but they came back fresh and ready Monday morning.
So the teams right now on the racetrack are working their way down the pit lane, making sure their tachometers are set for pit road speed. Todd, we got to find out from you. With your experience here, you've got 2 wins at Richmond Raceway in the NASCAR Cup Series. We're going to start under the heat and the sunshine. This race will transition into darkness and finish under the lights. How much will this track change?
It will. It'll change a fair amount just as it grips up, as it gains, as the sun goes down and gets off the racetrack. You'll feel the racetrack will gain some grip. We're going to lose some grip as we lay some rubber down too. So it'll go through a couple different changes here. One right off the bat of getting rubber down the racetrack. And then when we ever get to that option tire, how much rubber does that lay down? And is that another exaggeration of the track swinging there?
All right, so let's talk about that one more time, Alex Hayden. Goodyear with a couple of different options for the teams here tonight.
They have the prime tire or the harder compound tire that will be referred to sometimes throughout the broadcast as the yellows. Reason why? The side Goodyear painted on the sidewall is yellow in color. The option tire or softer rubber compound is going to be the red tire, as they say. So we have the option soft, we have the prime harder tire. There are 6 sets of the prime tire for the running of the race. Now, 5 of those sets are the brand new Goodyear sticker tires. The other set, the 6th set of primes, are scuff tires off of qualifying that we had yesterday that these teams can transfer over into the race. As far as the softer rubber compound, the option tire, they have 2 sets of those. And it's completely up to these race teams how they use those throughout the running of the Cookout 400. The only catch is in all of that, you cannot mix them. You cannot have options on one side of the car and primes on the other. If you have options, they got to be on all four corners. Same with the prime.
All right, so the option is, when do you use them? Todd Gordon, what do you think? I mean, you told us you talked to 20 different crew chiefs and you got 20 different answers.
Well, it depends on where your track position is and what you need out of the situation. If you're in the top 5 and running there all day long, you're going to think about keeping those option tires for the end of the race so that you've got all that good speed. They're talking about 35 to 50 laps that they can go on these tires. If they can go to 50, they're going to use those for the last 2 stops in stage 3 and put themselves, last 100 laps will be on the option. But I think you'll see a lot of these teams that need to make track position, that have an opportunity to go steal some stage points that are chasing points. You may see them come in oddly timed cautions in stage 1 and 2 and maybe used in the middle of stage 2 just to maintain your position and try to drive yourself forward into a fighting position, better position.
They had 45 minutes, did the NASCAR Cup Series teams yesterday for practice, and then they went qualifying. You think about pole winner Jeff Striegel, Denny Hamlin. He has not been on the best of streaks. As a matter of fact, his average finish in the last 7 consecutive races has been 23rd. That's his worst streak over 7 races in 12 years. Is Richmond Raceway the medicine that he and this team needed?
Absolutely is. As a matter of fact, the last 7 times he's been here, 5 of those finishes have ended up either in victory lane or runner-up, and he's ready to go tonight from the pole. You bet he is ready to go and get that hot streak and that momentum back with just 4 races remaining in the regular season.
Jesse Delavote is the pace car driver for the NASCAR Cup Series. The Whelen Engineering lights on top of that black, white, and red Toyota Camry pace car have gone out. Greg Harris is the flagman for tonight's Cookout 400. He's got his guests up there to wave the green flag tonight from Cookout as the field begins to bunch up 2 by 2 all the way down the backstretch. Lights have come on, but we're still under brilliant sunshine in Richmond. And to call the start of the Cookout 400 for MRN from Grand Rapids, Michigan, here's Jeff Striegel.
4 to go in the regular season, 400 laps in store on the action track. Richmond Raceway, a pair of teammates up front in Toyotas. Green flag is in the air. It's Denny Hamlin on the inside, Truex on the outside. A Ford and Chevrolet make up row number 2. They're already in turn number 1.
Toyotas side by side coming into the corner. Denny got the jump, but here comes Martin Truex Jr. around the outside. Bender out in front, but still a wheel-to-wheel battle for the lead.
And Martin Truex Jr. in the middle of the racetrack gets a nose in front of Denny Hamlin off turn number 4. Here comes Hamlin rallying back on the bottom. Lap number 1 led by Hamlin by a bumper. He'll squeeze his way to the front of the field in turn 1.
And he'll slide up in front of Martin Truex Jr. Give Denny Hamlin the point this time out of 2. Truex will settle in the number 2 spot with Josh Berry in 3rd. Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott, the rest of the top 5.
Then you get a side-by-side battle between Chris Buescher on the inside, Bubba Wallace on the outside. Advantage goes to Bubba. Crossover move. Buescher goes back to the outside.
Bubba did not want the outside line. He drifted across the nose of Buescher, took that line away, and in the process took away the spot. Buescher now slips off 2. That'll give Joey Logano the look to his inside. Maybe a little contact there in 3.
Logano will wedge his way to the inside and force a 3 wide now. Chris Buescher in the middle. Austin Dillon's Chevrolet goes topside. This is racing hard for position number 7.
3 wide for 7th. Logano dive bombs it into the bottom of the racetrack, and Buescher's got to give way. Logano's going to get 2 at a time. He'll get Buescher, and he'll also get Austin Dillon at that same moment.
And again now, right behind Chris Buescher, they go side by side. Here comes Tyler Reddick on the outside. William Byron on the inside. Right behind, it's Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney.
Watching the race outside of the top 10 right now as they continue that double wide formation. Back to the corner, wheel to wheel, watching William Byron digging hard on the bottom of the racetrack. Had a fender up alongside of the car of Tyler Reddick for a moment. Now they're wheel to wheel again for that position.
10th and 11th 7th is what they're racing for on the outside lane. It will be Tyler Reddick getting the advantage. Further up, his teammate at 23XI Racing, Bubba Wallace, is on the move.
Trying to take 5th away from Chase Elliott. He'll do it by the time they get to turn 2. Bubba Wallace coming to life here in the early going. He'll bypass Chase Elliott, and Elliott slams the door in the face of Logano.
Right now it's Denny Hamlin out front over his teammate, Martin Truex Jr. Then it's Josh Berry. Then it's Christopher Bell. That's the top 4. Hard racing right now. Mike Bagley from 5th on back.
Bubba Wallace just took that 5th spot a lap ago. They're side by side for 6th. You got a Ford and a Chevy wheel to wheel there. You got the Ford of Logano racing to the outside of the Chevy of Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott with the red, white, and black Coca-Cola colors on board of his Hendrick Motorsports entry. He'll fall back in line another spot, so Chase Elliott now has given up 2 positions here in the opening 7 laps of the race. We are still early, just underway in the Cookout 400. Denny Hamlin is the race leader. Martin Truex Jr. is 2nd. Josh Berry is up to 3rd comfortably. Christopher Bell 4th, and Bubba Wallace, Jeff, rounds out the top 5.
Ross Chastain is up 7 positions already. He is running in position number 15. And Kyle Busch, and this may be a bit of a surprise early on, Todd. We saw him yesterday practice well. We saw him qualify well. He's down 5 since we put him under the green flag only 9 laps ago.
Yeah, we'll see where this plays out, and some of that may be just soft pedaling the first few laps. We did see a few guys, Ross Chastain being one of them, really commit to rolling the top of 1 and 2 and made some positions. Just rolling a lot of speed up there. Seemed like there was grip up there. It's kind of leveled out now that we've gotten 9 laps into the run.
Stage 1 is 70 laps in length, Todd. Is there a thought process where these crew chiefs say, you know what, we want to run this entire 70-lap stint on these tires?
This may be the longest run that these guys go on a set of tires, and it's the greenest the racetrack is. So where is a bigger deal? This is a place, as Chase Briscoe talked about in the pre-race coverage, you don't want to run qualifying laps, because if you do, you're going to pay the penalty in 25 or 30 laps.
Right now, Chris Buescher, Mike Bagley running in position number 8, and he continues to feel the heat.
Yeah, he does. He's got him lined up behind him, Jeff. He has gotten the shuffle backward ever since the dropping of the green flag, but he's got Austin Dillon there. William Byron is lined up. You've got Tyler Reddick. You got Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Kyle Larson. They're all lined up trying to get around him right now as he exits turn 2.
One of those you mentioned, Mike, Ross Chastain's gained 4 spots here in the last handful of laps. He's beginning to climb the leaderboard.
Yeah, Ross Chastain in a good run in the early going, but behind him, here's a good battle. Austin Cindric and Kyle Larson going at it.
Yeah, off of turn number 4 they come. Advantage goes to Kyle Larson and Austin Cindric now. He's not done fighting because here comes Ty Gibbs down to the inside.
Larson will make his way past. Now Ty Gibbs will punch a hole to the inside and try to do the same. He cannot complete the pass out of 2, but will off the end of the back straightaway.
Yeah, they will as they come back into turn number 3. Already some of these drivers are beginning to widen out the corner in turn number 3, Mike. It's not at all unusual on a short track here at Richmond to see drivers go to the 2nd, 3rd, and even 4th line.
Yeah, we always start on the bottom lane of the racetrack here at Richmond, and then it starts to slowly work its way up. We've seen drivers testing that 2nd lane and coming out of 2, and Todd Gordon referenced this a moment ago. They're even venturing out, perhaps maybe trying to get a 3rd lane worked in on the exit of turn 2.
It's going to be 15 laps complete next time by for Denny Hamlin, who has led all 15 laps. Why don't we take a moment, Alex Hayden, give everybody a look at where all of their favorite drivers are running, presented by Hands Free Skechers. Slip-ins, no bending down, no touching your shoes. Just step in and go with Hands Free Skechers slip-ins.
Denny Hamlin is the race leader. You got Martin Truex Jr. riding 2nd. Josh Berry is 3rd. Christopher Bell is 4th, and Joey Logano 5th. Bubba Wallace is 6th. Chase Elliott is 7th. Chris Buescher 8th. 9th is Austin Dillon, and 10th is William Byron.
Tyler Reddick right now is 11th. Ryan Blaney 12th. Ross Chastain up to 13th. Kyle Larson 14th. Ty Gibbs 15th. Austin Cindric 16th. Carson Hocevar 17th. Kyle Busch is backslid to 18th. Alex Bowman 19th, and Noah Gragson is 20th.
21st is Daniel Suarez. 22nd is Todd Gilliland. 23rd is Zane Smith. Then you've got Eric Jones in 24th and Ryan Priest 25th. Corey LaJoy 26th. Brad Keselowski 27th. Chase Briscoe 28th and Harrison Burton 29th, along with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 30th.
31st will be Michael McDowell. 32nd, John Hunter Nemechek. Ty Dillon, 33rd. Riley Herbst, 34th. Daniel Hemrick, 35th. Justin Haley, 36th. Parker Retzloff is being scored 37th. That's a look at the leaderboard on lap number 18. Got a good battle shaping up for third. It's over now as Christopher Bell has come to third. 3 Toyotas at the front of the field here on lap number 18. This is the 9th consecutive race that Denny Hamlin has led laps here at the Richmond Raceway. He's led all 21 to this point. It's Hamlin, Truex, Bell, 3 Toyotas in front of a pair of Fords, and they're racing side by side right now in Joey Logano and Josh Berry. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Career start 673 for Denny Hamlin, who has 54 career wins. And you got a handful of them that have come right here at the Richmond Raceway. This is his best track by average of any track on the circuit. Right now, Alex Hayden, he has led all 25, and he's done so over his teammates.
He has indeed. Second place, Martin Truex Jr., and third place, Christopher Bell. Let's talk a little bit more about Christopher Bell and have Chris Wilner, who's following along in that pit box, what their early 25 laps have been like here in the Cookout 400. Given the fact that regular crew chief Adam Stevens is not here after suffering a bilateral knee injury during the break. This trip to pit road is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Chris Wilner.
Well, it's a pretty unique situation, Alex, with what they're doing communication-wise with Christopher Bell. He's currently running in that third position. As far as the race car, no major issues right now, just wording to make sure that Bell protects the right front tire over the course of this run. But the communication is coming from the box from Chris Sherwood, who we documented pre-race is doing the crew chief duties in place of Adam Stevens. But it's a unique situation because it's not on penalty, so Adam Stevens is back in Huntersville, North Carolina, in the war room at Joe Gibbs Racing, actually is on radio. He was communicating with Christopher as they fired the engines, kind of giving him pre-race instructions. instructions and telling Christopher that all the messages will go through the box, but he is in communication with Chris Sherwood on the box. So Adam Stevens back in the war room again is on radio and is able to talk to Christopher. He probably will mention a few times under caution to Christopher different intricacies, but I want to ask Todd, as a crew chief, what is it like being in the war room? What are the intricacies and the technologies you have to be able to communicate from all the way back in North Carolina?
Well, this becomes even more so than what my experience was, but we've got live communication back and forth. We got to the point that we'd have an open intercom with the engineers back at the shop onto the pit box. It was like they were sitting right next to you, sharing the information with you. It's live. You're not having to go through text. You're not having to go through messenger pieces. You can talk clearly. And as you're talking about there, all of my situations when I was there, I was under penalty. So you couldn't talk on the car radio. You could talk on intercoms, you could talk on digitals, but you could never talk on the analog that goes to the driver. So Adam being able to do that, he gets a lot of information. I think this will help strengthen this team because he'll understand better the nuances of what's going on back at the shop and building those relationships. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out as we fall into the playoffs here.
Top three running right together right now, Todd, and Hamlin, Truex, and Christopher Bell. Logano by himself in fourth. And Mike Bagley, how about that battle for fifth as it exits off turn number 4?
It's been a great battle the last handful of laps. Josh Berry and Bubba Wallace have been swapping that spot back and forth. Now it's Bubba's turn to take it. He's going to use the high side entry going into 1. Wow, what a move by Bubba. Around the outside, he'll grab the spot. But that's been the most entertaining battle inside of the top 10 of the last handful of laps.
It has, but the battle for second is beginning to tighten up now as you've got Christopher Bell on the back bumper of second place running Martin Truex Jr.
A couple of teammates trying to dice it up for the position there. Number 2, that's about 6 car lengths behind Denny Hamlin. And race leader Denny Hamlin has arrived on the same straightaway as the cars he will eventually lap. He is catching the back end of the field pretty quick.
Right now, Hamlin with about a 5-car length advantage over Truex. Truex, though, he is under the gun as Christopher Bell looks to the outside.
Christopher Bell surveys his options coming off the end of the front straightaway. He'll opt for the high lane, and he'll dial it up, and he's there. Christopher Bell, power move on the outside of turn 2. Matter of fact, he'll sweep around Truex at the entrance of 3 and take that second spot.
Martin Truex Jr., the veteran that he is, very savvy, understands Christopher Bell's car a little bit better here. 35 laps into the Cookout 400. Let him go just a bit, but he's not going to let him drive completely away off turn 2.
No, he'll stay with him, keep him at arm's length. 1 or 2 car lengths behind C. Bell is Martin Truex Jr. And matter of fact, the leaders, Hamlin, Bell, and Truex, have pulled away by from Logano so much that they are on the back straightaway by themselves, and Logano's just exiting 2 when they enter 3.
Right now, he is all by himself, talking about Joey Logano. Then comes Bubba Wallace. Then comes a good 4-car battle. You've got Josh Berry right there, Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, and Austin Dillon.
Tip of the cap to Austin Dillon in the early going tonight. Good qualifying run for him, and he's got a good presence inside of the top 10 right now, having just bypassed Chris Buescher, and now Austin Dillon's going to work on Elliott.
Yeah, he is. Elliott's been right in the middle of the racetrack, but boy, Mike, have they already begun to fan out all the way to the wall now here on this short track.
Towards the back end of the pack, you've got a handful of drivers that aren't in the first lane or the second lane. They are in the third lane, almost up against the outside wall. That's how much this track has widened out in the opening 37 laps.
Let's give you a quick look at the top 10 now. 38 down. We run them off in a hurry here. 32 to go in the stage. Hamlin, Bell, Truex, top 3, and Bell closing in on his teammate Denny Hamlin for the lead. Logano by himself 4th in front of Bubba Wallace, who is 5th. Josh Berry, Chase Elliott running right together. They're 6th and 7th. Austin Dillon and Chris Buescher running right together. They're 8th and 9th. And Tyler Reddick at the moment completes the top 10 on lap 39. Hamlin beginning to lap traffic, but he's also feeling the pressure from his teammate Christopher Bell. A good two-car battle. As a matter of fact, Bell wants the lead right now, Mike Bagley.
He's going to take a peek to the inside. The problem is he's not quite close enough to get there. He's been on the forward charge. Denny Hamlin looks in his rearview mirror and sees yellow and black, the colors of Christopher Bell's car.
As they begin to close in on the car running at the tail end of the field in 37th, making his NASCAR Cup Series debut, Parker Retzlaff right in front of this battle for the race lead.
Yeah, Parker Retzlaff and company are running for their lives right now as C. Bell wants the lead. Hamlin goes wide out of 2, leaves the lane wide open for Bell on the back straightaway. Bell again, bottom of the racetrack in 3 for the point.
So Denny Hamlin right now, middle of the racetrack, and here comes Bell on the bottom, side by side, off 4. Problem is, Bell with nowhere to go, and he'll have to follow in the tire tracks this time, back to 1.
Now Bell's going to take a look to the outside, while at the same time Hamlin goes to the outside of Parker Retzlaff and puts him a lap in arrears. They've got some racetrack to work with before they get to the lap cars of Riley Herbst and Daniel Hemrick.
While they battle for the race lead in lap traffic, they'll settle things down if only for a moment. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. We welcome you back to Richmond Raceway in the Cookout 400. Challenge and change for the race lead a moment ago. Christopher Bell has passed his teammate Denny Hamlin, but Mike, Hamlin's got more problems.
Yeah, he's got Martin Truex Jr. to deal with and the lap car of Riley Herbst. Truex to the outside of Hamlin as Hamlin is slowly starting to backpedal just a tad.
And here comes Truex. So they're going to try to split the lap car. They make contact right front to the left side of Justin Haley's car, make that Riley Herbst car. Is whether or not he sustained any damage, hard to say, Mike, but they definitely made contact off 4.
Yeah, there was close quarters racing. Not sure if Denny was trying to give Martin a little chin music or the car got away from him and he had to collect it. There was contact a lap ago, and there is damage on the right rear of the Martin Truex Jr. car.
Yeah, there is. We take a close look here at the right side of Hamlin's car. He's got a little mark on the side of his car. He was on the bottom of the racetrack, so he and Truex got together, forced Truex up the racetrack. But it looks like for the moment they're going to get away peaceably as they work down the back straightaway.
Lap number 50, 50 down, 350 to go. Let's give you a quick mid-race update brought to you by Pfizer.
Right now, with 20 to go in the opening stage of the race, Christopher Bell is the race leader. He's the second driver to take turns leading laps today. Only one lead change, and that was Bell getting by Denny Hamlin. No caution flags to this point in the race, and with 51 laps complete, that's probably a sigh of relief for a lot of these crew chiefs, given the tire allotment and the decisions to make.
Right now, it's Bell leading over Hamlin and Truex. So Toyota teammates up front. Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr. Joey Logano has run down Truex and Hamlin. That's going to be a good 3-car battle. Bubba Wallace is 5th. Chase Elliott and Austin Dillon go 6, 7. Chris Buescher, Josh Berry, and Tyler Reddick complete the top 10.
As we continue down to 18 laps to go, the rest of the top 20 as we run at the moment, things staying spread out just a bit. William Byron is 11th, Ryan Blaney 12th, Ross Chastain gained 9 positions in the initial laps. He's been able to hold steady in 13th. Kyle Larson is 14th after flying back to the Commonwealth of Virginia this morning after going wire to wire to win the Knoxville National Sprint Car race last last night. Ty Gibbs is 15th, Carson Hocevar 16th, Daniel Suarez 17th, Kyle Busch 18th, Austin Cindric 19th, and Alex Bowman is 20th.
Hard to go forward, Mike Bagley, as the race leader when the cars trying to stay on the lead lap are running 3 wide right in front of you.
Yeah, Steve Bell's got his hands full right now. He has caught Michael McDowell. He's trying to put McDowell lap down with Harrison Burton and Ty Dillon in that mix, and Bell's going to try to squeeze it again 3 wide.
He will. Michael McDowell at the bottom of the track gives him plenty of room. Top side, Harrison Burton does the same. Christopher Bell will thread the needle, put both of those drivers 1 lap down with 15 to go in the stage.
And put the crosshairs on Ty Dillon now, who's driving for Colleague Racing tonight. Here's Bell out of turn number 2. He'll track Dillon off the end of the back straightaway with others to go a lap down as well.
Christopher Bell's lead is 1.3 seconds with 14 laps to go in stage 1. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Nine laps to go in stage number 1 of the Cookout 400. We've been clean and green all 62 laps to this point. Christopher Bell, the race leader, had a moment, as they say, Jeff Striegel, in the racing world. Last time, it's been a couple of laps ago, back in turn number 2.
Yeah, he was on the bottom of the racetrack at 1 glimpse. A blink of the eye later, Mike Bagley, he was trying to knock down the outside retaining wall coming off turn 2.
He got way loose, or something happened with the car, because it bobbled and he darted up the racetrack. He was able to hang on to the car, but it gave us a moment of pause because it looked like the race leader was having a problem. It was a momentary problem, but it's not hurt him on the leaderboard or the lap times.
He's just put Justin Haley a lap down. That's the car that he was trying to lap when all of that took place. May have just simply lost some grip there, but finally able to accomplish that task. Haley now the first car 1 lap down. The next one in line would be Noah Gregson, although that's 6 to 8 car lengths away, Jeff, and 6 laps to go in the stage.
Noah Gregson has lost 13 positions since we put him under the green flag. Next in line on that side in that equation, Kyle Busch, down 6. Now he's stabilized Jason Toy around the 18th position. He fell down to 18th, and that's about where he's been since we got about 10, 12 laps into this event. What are they saying about that car?
Well, they're not real panicked about it. He was complaining that he was loose and plowing through the middle of the corner, loose coming off, means the back end wanted to kick out on him. But as the run has gone on, that was about mid-run. As it's gone on, it's stabilized, and actually the lap times have improved for Kyle Busch. One thing about it, talk to his crew chief, Randall Burnett,
race leader continues to be Christopher Bell, down to 4 laps to go now here in stage number 1. Bell continues to work in some traffic. He just put Corey LaJoie a lap down, begins to close in now on that Noah Gregson Ford Mustang up off of turn number 4. Jeff, down to 3 to go.
As Bell comes across the line, and you've got Denny Hamlin, Truex, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace. That is your top 5. Mike Bagley, they are headed your way.
Yeah, a couple of laps ago, Corey LaJoie made contact with the outside wall. He's been able to keep the car rolling, but he's lost a lot of lap time, and he has just lost a position on the lead lap to Christopher Bell.
Staying as Christopher Bell trying to get closer to the Noah Gregson car. Further back, Denny Hamlin now beginning to catch some of those lap machines in turn number 1. Hamlin, no threat right now to catch the race leader.
But he's got lap traffic double wide ahead of him. He's got that Corey LaJoie car and that Michael McDowell car that are residing right in front of him. Right now, LaJoie's going to go to the high country. McDowell's going to go to the bottom of the racetrack.
And Christopher Bell needs to be very patient right here. Noah Gregson right in front of him. Brad Keselowski in front of that. The racing 2 and 3 wide. Final lap of stage number 1 for C. Bell.
Christopher Bell comes to turn 2 with a good lead in hand. Put that lead at about 20 car lengths with the potential lap car of Noah Gregson on his nose off the end of the backstretch.
Here they come up off of turn number 4. Race leader Christopher Bell sees the green and white checkered flag out of the right hand of chief starter Greg Harris, and Christopher Bell picks up the stage 1 win. So C. Bell wins the stage. Denny Hamlin will be second. Martin Truex Jr. will be third. Joey Logano finishes the stage 4th, and Bubba Wallace 5th. Chase Elliott 6th. Austin Dillon 7th. Chris Buescher 8th. Tyler Reddick 9th. And Josh Berry ends the stage 10th.
And now we see the caution flag flying here on lap number 70. The top 10 in stage 1 presented by Powerball. Stage win number 10 on the season for Christopher Bell. We've got pit stops coming up shortly from Richmond Raceway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Welcome back to Richmond. Stage 1 done. Christopher Bell getting the green and white checkered flag. 29 cars on the lead lap. Michael McDowell will get the free pass, running 1 lap down right now. Alex Hayden, you've got Corey LaJoie, Justin Haley, Ty Dillon, Harrison Burton, John Hunter Nemechek, Daniel Hemrick, Riley Herbst, and Parker Retzloff. Those are the cars running a lap down. This may be, let's look at Michael McDowell. He's going to pit. He was a lap down. He'll get the free pass. Todd, is this the opportunity? We have the 2 sets down there, the option tires and the primary tires. Is this the opportunity that we may see the first driver put the option tire on?
Yeah, it definitely looks like for Michael McDowell, because you have the free pass, you're going to start tail end. I think putting these on to not end up being the guy that goes a lap down the next time is interesting. It looks like the 99 car, Daniel Suarez, has reds out there too. Let's see what happens here.
Lap number 75 goes on the board. Pit lane is open. Chris Wilner.
Well, Christopher Bell is making it look easy here early on at Richmond. They've got prime tires, the yellow wall tires ready to go. It'll be a 4-tire change. Fill it up with Sunoco fuel, just a little bit free on exit, but really rolling center nicely. Also in Tyler Reddick, and how about Chase Elliott? Said we're better than practice, still really free. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. 4 prime tires and fuel. Jason Toy.
Martin Truex Jr. hits the Mark IV tires. Sunoco fuel going on. The yellow branded tires for him. He is down the way. Going to be a drag race with him and Christopher Bell. Denny Hamlin is going to get down in the way as well on the end of pit road. Also there, Ryan Newman. Actually, it's Ryan Blaney making his pit stop. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. Couple of drivers going with the reds here on this end of pit road. We'll follow up with that in a moment.
Problem for the race leader, Christopher Bell, pulling out of his pit box. You had Eric Jones making the left turn to go into his pit box right in front of them. They made contact. Eric Jones's car went in perpendicular to the infield wall. Team did not miss a beat. They went ahead and serviced the race car, but absolute contact right front corner of the race leading car of Christopher Bell after this pit stop. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. We welcome you back to Richmond Raceway. We've just got the 1-to-go signal. The field is coming to the Geico restart zone, presented by Geico. Is your insurance playbook lacking? Switch to Geico and get all your insurance coverage from one place. Go to geico.com today to get started.
Christopher Bell will lead him back to the green flag here on lap number 79 with his teammate Denny Hamlin alongside. Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, row 2, Austin Dillon, and Chase Elliott. They're going to wave off the restart. Not everybody able to catch the tail end of the field, so we'll go one more lap. So again, it's Seabell and Denny Hamlin, Truex and Joey Logano, Austin Dillon, who's had a good run so far. It's been a good weekend so far for Austin Dillon. with Chase Elliott alongside. And then you get back to row 5, and that's where Ross Chastain lines up to the inside of Chris Buescher.
So for the first time in a NASCAR Cup Series points-paying race, we're seeing strategy as far as a different tire compound for Goodyear in play. 2 different teams elected to put on the option softer rubber tire out there, and those 2 drivers are Michael McDowell and Daniel Suarez. So Todd, let's revisit now what this tire's designed to do and what do you expect?
Well, what we saw yesterday, it was 3 to 4 tenths faster for the first 25 laps or so. We'll see where it plays out here, but definitely an opportunity to go forward. Daniel Suarez starting in the 16th position. Be interesting to see if he's 3 wide into turn 1 and how many rows he can get.
Let's find out as we go back under the green flag on lap number 80, Richmond Raceway. C. Bell, Denny Hamlin. They're going to lead the field back to turn number 1, and they're going to go side by side when they get there.
Bell gets the advantage on the break, but here comes Hamlin back to the outside of the racetrack. They'll mirror each other to the backstretch. Right now, Denny Hamlin gets that jump from the top of 2, but here's Bell back to the bottom of 3.
Back to turn number 3. Bell on the bottom of the racetrack. Close quarters racing on exit of turn 4. Denny Hamlin by a nose will lead this lap. Christopher Bell keeps his Toyota right at the bottom of the speedway.
Seesawing back and forth in this battle for the lead. You got Bell that'll grab it on corner entry. Hamlin takes it on corner exit. Bell to the bottom. Hamlin topside behind them. Truex and Logano are wheel to wheel.
Side by side for the lead. Off turn number 4, Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin at the line by inches. It's Denny, but here comes Christopher back to the bottom. He wants the lead back.
There are 4 different rows of side by side racing. Bell, Hamlin, Truex, Logano. You've got Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott. Then it finally singles out to single file formation. And watching Daniel Suarez, he is rolling on those red tires.
He has gained 6 positions since the drop of the green flag. That option tire doing exactly what it was designed to do. Now, we're going to focus right now on the battle for the race lead, side by side off turn 2.
It continues to be wheel to wheel for first, wheel to wheel for third, wheel to wheel for 5th, and they're stretched out with 3 car lengths in between. Bell and Hamlin leaning on each other for the point.
Boy, again, side by side as they come up and racing off turn number 4. Bell and Hamlin inches apart. Behind them, Truex to the inside of Joey Logano.
What a race here in the early going, lap 84, and virtually the top 10 are side by side, spread out now to the backstretch. Hamlin with the advantage over Bell for the lead. Logano gets the advantage over Truex for third.
They do, as Logano in that outside lane slips just a bit. Here comes Martin Truex Jr. rallying back down to the bottom of the speedway. Still wheel to wheel for the number 3 spot. What a race we've got, side by side for third, side by side for 5th.
And now Denny Hamlin will sweep around Bell and take the lead. So it's Hamlin with the lead, Bell to second. Logano will get by Truex for third, and they're side by side behind them for 5th.
That's Austin Dillon on the inside of Chase Elliott, and look who is right behind and rolling. It's Daniel Suarez right in front of him. Dillon to the bottom, Chase Elliott to the outside.
Side by side into the corner. Chase Elliott with the advantage on the outside coming into turn 1. He'll have that advantage to turn 2. Daniel Suarez is there. 3 wide to the inside. Here comes Suarez down low.
He does, right at the bottom of the racetrack, gets up underneath Austin Dillon, takes that spot away. He's not done. He'll march right to the inside of Chase Elliott and pick up 2 spots off turn number 4. Suarez on the option tire up to 5th.
Daniel Suarez has broken into the top 5. Let's see how much he's got left in him. Next up for him, Martin Truex Jr. and a battle for 4th.
And that's Austin Dillon, who now rides right behind Daniel Suarez with Chase Elliott. All eyes right now, Bagman, on Daniel Suarez. He will drive by Truex like he's tied to a stump and focus now on Joey Logano.
He will go on immediate attack to Logano. He has gotten 4th. Here's Suarez. He's looking for 3rd. These option tires making a huge difference for Suarez. Suarez makes short work of Logano.
He has come from 18th all the way to 3rd, and he is not done yet. Let's follow Daniel Suarez as he tracks down Christopher Bell.
Here he comes back into the corner. Christopher Bell running in 2nd. You've got Suarez in 3rd. They are separated by 2 car lengths. All of this going on behind race leader Denny Hamlin.
So Suarez working in the middle of the racetrack. The 2 Toyotas in front of him going 1st and 2nd. That's Hamlin and Bell respectively running the bottom of the speedway through the corners. Sun setting here at Richmond, Virginia. Battle for the lead is 3-way.
It is between Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, and Daniel Suarez. Suarez, good run out of 2. Pouring on the coals. Pulling to the inside of Bell for the runner-up spot.
Boy, he is on the option tire. Todd, I guess if there was any question at all about how good the option tire would be, it's being answered right now.
Yeah, he's definitely putting a show on here and all the way to second from, like you said, starting deep in the field. And likewise, Michael McDowell up into the top 20, starting scratch in the field. Both of these cars taking those red tires, the option tires, and driving their way forward. Daniel Suarez is going to make a move for the lead here.
There's Suarez to the outside, who restarted on lap 80 in 16th. McDowell restarted in 29th. Here goes Daniel Suarez on the option tire to the top side.
Denny Hamlin better hang on because he's getting ready to get his doors blown off. Suarez steps to the outside of the racetrack. He's there, side by side for the lead. Suarez will complete the pass and go to the point at lap 92.
And here he comes now off of turn number 4. New race leader here at Richmond Raceway. It is Daniel Suarez, who has taken the lead over Denny Hamlin, who is second. Christopher Bell is settled in line at the moment third, followed by Joey Logano and Martin Truex Jr. That's your top 5. The rest of the top 10, Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain, Chris Buescher, and Kyle Larson. Alex Hayden.
Here in the Cookout 400 in the middle of stage number 2. Want to welcome to the broadcast from Cookout representative is Bobby Labonte, NASCAR Hall of Famer and employee, again, Joe Gibbs Racing. Welcome back to the broadcast. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to watch this race. It's a lot of fun and be here on a Cookout weekend.
Yeah, it is special. The relationship with Cookout, NASCAR, now here at Richmond Raceway, it's something special, isn't it?
It really is, and obviously this is a great racetrack to be at, and to have Cookout sponsor it to me is just, it doesn't get much better than this when you can watch this. And Cookout, I've taken responsibility in getting Jeremy and all them involved in it because they came by the house in my neighborhood and I showed them quarter midgets, and the next thing you know, they're in it. So I love that fact of it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for me that I did get them this far involved.
Yeah, well, you know what? We always say it all the time. We want people to bring kids to the racetrack, even if that means show them a quarter midget and get them to the track as a driver. So job well done on your part there, Bobby. I'm good with that.
Cool.
We've got Rue Reeves joining us as well. Rue, coming to the racetrack with your family, that's a really cool thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
How important is it to be able to have your family around you when you do come to the racetrack?
It's really important.
Absolutely it is. Rue Reeves there, Bobby Labonte joining us. Max Reeves is also here hanging out with us. And Bobby, when you look at what's going on the racetrack, to have the first ever option tire in a NASCAR points paying race and seeing what it's doing, how important is it for Cookout to be attached to what we're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what a great venue. I'm glad that the weather moved out for the weekend here. I know Rue didn't get to run the quarter midgets because they did have enough weather that kind of canceled their deal, but they'll make that up at Darlington, which is another Cookout race. But the option tire, to me, I'm watching Todd over there and just with the stopwatch, and I think it's a great element that we haven't really seen, and this track over at North Wilkesboro is definitely going to show. It'll be interesting to see what it's going to be at lap 300 or so. That'll be the cool thing. What we're seeing now is a lot of trying to figure it out, I guess.
All right, Max Reeves got a headset on as well. Max, your favorite Cookout shake, your meal, what's your go-to when you go to Cookout?
I usually get a tray and a burger and 2 sides, cheese bites and fries. But my favorite shake, I love all the shakes, but I'd probably have to go with a Cheerwine float or Reese's in my shake.
You can't go wrong with either one of those. I'm a cheeseburger, pickles guy. My side will be the fries and the chicken nuggets. That's my go-to when I go to Cookout. Just for reference point out there. Hey, we can't thank all of you enough and everybody at Cookout for putting on another great race. Obviously, it's spectacular what we're seeing on here. Max, Ruth, thank you guys. Bobby Labonte, always a pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely right. So Cookout 400 continuing under the green flag here, Jeff.
Right now, Daniel Suarez has left the building. He's gone over Christopher Bell, who has come to second by passing his teammate Denny Hamlin. Logano is fourth in front of Martin Truex Jr. That's your top 5. The rest of the top 10, Chase Elliott 6th, Austin Dillon 7th, Ross Chastain and Kyle Larson go 8, 9, and Michael McDowell from the back of the pack on the option tires has driven all the way to 10th on lap 102. He restarted 16th, Daniel Suarez did. He is now leading by 3 seconds, and it's growing. Daniel Suarez goes into turn 3 as Christopher Bell exits off turn number 2. Well, he's not alone. Michael McDowell, who started dead last after taking the free pass, he's already up to 8th, and he's about to pass Austin Dillon for 7th. More on the option tires when we come back. 106 down, 294 remain. Suarez, Bell, Hamlin, top 3. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. ...31 laps into this run here, and Daniel Suarez, who was out front by 3.2, is now out front by 2.8. He is not the fastest car on the racetrack anymore. That belongs to Christopher Bell.
And this is exactly the types of things we've learned in the garage today and yesterday, Todd Gordon, about this option tire. The life on it compared to the prime tires, 30 to 35 laps faster. After about lap 35, it will begin to give up much quicker than the primes do, and we're seeing exactly that.
Yeah, we are. And you look at this, and it's a tenth or two that between Christopher Bell and Daniel Suarez. Christopher Bell's a little quicker, although Christopher Bell was the fastest car here when everybody's on the same tires. So I don't know if we've crossed that point or whether just the performance of the car and that coming together, but we're starting to see that crisscross. Suarez is no longer the fastest car on the racetrack.
As a matter of fact, Christopher Bell is a good 0.2 of a second faster than Daniel Suarez as we run here. 112 laps complete, so here's a look at some of the biggest movers and losers to this point in the race, presented by Craftsman. Take advantage of special deals now at Ace Hardware. Visit craftsman.com.
Why don't we do it this way, Alex? We'll look at the movers and losers since we put them under the green flag to start stage 2 on lap 79. We're working lap 113 right now. Michael McDowell up 22 positions on the option tire. Daniel Suarez up 14 positions and to the lead on the option tire. Going the wrong way, teammates Josh Berry and Chase Briscoe. Berry down 7, Briscoe down 5.
So that is a look at the movers and losers to this point in the race after the restart on lap number 79.
Yeah, and you look at it, you bring that up 22 positions for Michael McDowell. We have to remember he started behind all the lap down cars as well. So it's not just his 22 positions, but he's also passed a number of lap down cars. It's been an impressive drive forward.
Observation time from Mike Bagley outside turn number 3. I think one observation clearly is Christopher Bell is running back down now, Daniel Suarez. But what else are you seeing out there so far, Mike? 1:15 in the books.
Well, I've been captivated by the takeoff speed of these option tires. I was paying close attention to Daniel Suarez when he restarted mid-pack. And as we started clicking off the laps, he was passing them 2, 3, 4 at a time. And I'm sure all the crew chiefs on pit road are paying attention to this as well, that when you go to these red tires, these option tires, that the takeoff is incredible and it'll get you to where you want to go. But what remains to be answered is, will it keep you there? And right now we're in the process of finding that out, seeing how long Daniel Suarez can keep the advantage that he has over Christopher Bell, who rides behind him in second. And in-lap traffic and Eric Jones just had a problem right in front of Christopher Bell. Got crossed up, and he collects the car and rolls on.
Speaking of Christopher Bell, let's get a little bit more on C. Bell here as we work the mid stages of stage number 2 with Chris Wilner.
Well, you guys were just talking about him running back down Daniel Suarez for the lead, but Chris Sherwood just came over the radio, his crew chief, and said, we didn't get enough fuel in the tank that last time down pit road. Be ready. We may call you sooner rather than later. So a little bit of a short fill for Christopher Bell. He may be coming down pit road before we expect the rest of the leaders to.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Chris Wilner and Jason Toy have everything covered for you down on pit road. 118 down, Suarez, Bell, Hamlin, Logano, and Truex. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. Welcome back to the Cookout 400, Richmond Raceway. 120 laps complete as we watch Daniel Suarez lead the way. More on how he got there in a moment. Suarez leading over Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Martin Truex Jr. at the moment. My name is Jeff Striegel. Alongside is Alex Hayden and championship winning crew chief Todd Gordon. On pit road is Jason Toy and Chris Wilner. Mike Bagley's got everything covered for you outside turn number 3. Just a moment ago, we saw one driver come off the banking and onto pit road.
That's Chase Briscoe. Here comes the second place car now of Christopher Bell coming in. We'll start with Jason Toy.
Chase Briscoe is coming in to start the pit stop cycle. He put the reds on. Sunoco fueled in for him. Quick pit stop down on the way. Chris Wilner.
And your second place driver, Christopher Bell, is coming in. We remember they didn't get enough fuel in the tank the last time by. They're going to put prime tires on for Christopher Bell, using this as an opportunity to make the tire change and fill it up with Sunoco fuel. But some other cars are in as well. Austin Cindric, it's going to be the option tires. So some of the back markers now going to make the same play that Daniel Suarez and Michael McDowell did.
And now we see Daniel Suarez making his way down towards Jason Toy. They used the option tire last time. What about now, Jason?
Well, they're going to go back to the harder compound yellow tires. The normal Goodyear Racing Eagles, right side complete, left side there. What about 30 laps? Once it leveled out, they told him, hey, just maintain what you can. He did a good job of that. He's down on the way. Zane Smith is going out. Also, we've got Michael McDowell, who he put those reds on earlier. He's going back to yellows. He was able to make his way through the field. And Martin Truex Jr. will follow up and see what color tires he put on.
Problem for Chris Buescher. Made his pit stop, pulled out of his box, Todd, went a good pit box away, jammed the brakes, and put it in reverse to go back.
Looked like the left front didn't get tightened up. They had to back up, jack up. The changer came back, loosened up, back up, got the wheel straight, back on, but a major penalty in time.
And now we see Denny Hamlin coming onto pit road. Eric Jones is on pit road. Josh Berry and others. Let's cover the stop of Denny Hamlin.
Hamlin's working his way all the way down to pit stall number 1, all the way around to the turn in turn number 1. The crew's going to work. They're sticking with the yellow tires. They're going to go with Denny Hamlin. Yellow, the harder compound tire for him, Sunoco fuel. Josh Berry, you talked about him on pit road. He put the red, softer compound, lost the handle early on in this run, and just never came back for him.
Continuing a round of green flag pit stops for the overwhelming majority of the field, but cars that were already on pit road, Jeff, now beginning to race hard, including Christopher Bell and Chris Buescher.
Yeah, that may cycle around to be a battle for the lead. Right now it's a battle back around 12th and 13th. The advantage goes to Christopher Bell as he drove right by Daniel Suarez. So right now we are working lap 126. And Alex, it appears as though we have 9 cars that have yet to come on to pit road.
That's the way it's cycling on this particular run, with 104 laps still remaining in stage number 2. Chase Elliott is currently the race leader, but that will go away. Chase Elliott now on the pit lane as he makes his way to Chris Wilner.
And they're going to stick with the prime, the yellow tires for Chase Elliott. He said, I'm still a little bit free on quarter exit. They made an air pressure adjustment. The Sunoco can being engaged. They're going to fill it up. All the tires have been changed, and Chase Elliott is down and away.
Now we see Riley Herbst on pit road, Justin Haley on pit road, new race leader Kyle Larson. He will not pit. He will put another lap in as he goes across the start-finish line. Waiting on Larson, Reddick, Blaney, Byron, Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Todd Gilliland, and Brad Keselowski. Todd Gordon, that's your top 8. They've yet to come to pit road. Are we seeing, and I know we need another lap or two to really determine this, but are we seeing a different pitting strategy right here?
We may be seeing that, but we're right at the point now at 50 laps into the green flag laps into this run. This is where you would start to split this into thirds. So all these other guys short pitted, if you're really trying to run this a little long or trying to set yourself up for a shorter run on the Reds, you may be just going a little bit deeper here. Kyle Busch on pit road.
Red, white, and blue American colors for the Cheddar Chevrolet here for Kyle Busch. Work complete on the right side. One pump on the jack left side. They have a problem. They dropped the jack too soon. The left side tire not on all the way. It's going to be a slower stop for Kyle Busch with Sunoco fuel.
Todd Gilliland gets away from pit lane as well. Here comes the body armor Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Black and white entry. Ryan Blaney is on the pit lane making his way to Jason Toy.
All the way down towards turn number 1 for Ryan Blaney. The crew's going to go to work with him. Yellow, harder compound tires. The normal tire for Ryan Blaney as he gives up a run in the top 5 to come down for 4 tires in Sunoco fuel here in the middle section of segment number 2.
William Byron is now on pit road in front of Chris Wilner.
And it was tight. He went screaming over the radio, Jeff. They're going to make an adjustment as well as 4 tires. They're going to stick with those prime yellow tires, the traditional tire, fill it up with Sunoco fuel. Rudy Fugle said, wait on my command. He's down and away.
Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Brad Keselowski, the 4 drivers that are yet to come to pit road on this particular cycle. They don't have to come to pit road right now, Todd. Let's make that very clear. There's plenty of Sunoco fuel in the tank.
Yeah, the fuel could go well past 100 laps. The tires, we're only at 50 laps into it. This is just one of those situations, and it may be a situation where 1 or 2 of these guys decide to single stop this. Basically take the 150 green flag laps of stage 2, split it in half at 75 instead of splitting it in thirds at 50-50-50.
Right now, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. have yet to pit. Larson right now has a 8-second advantage over Christopher Bell. Christopher is the highest running car that has just recently pitted. So Bell's going to run down Larson, but obviously Larson on a different strategy.
Absolutely right. Along with the different strategies means a lot of drama. 96 to go in stage number 2 of the Cookout 400. Kyle Larson continues to show the way here at Richmond. He's got a 1.7 second lead over Tyler Reddick, who's second. Christopher Bell, after making the pit stop, is rallied now. He's up to the number 3 spot. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is 4th. Daniel Suarez is 5th with the 93 to go here in stage number 2. We're going to talk a little more about Daniel Suarez and the strategy they employed to get the track position that they have when we come back. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Sun getting lower on the horizon, still some clouds drifting overhead the Richmond Raceway on a beautiful Sunday evening here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Time now for a mid-race update brought to you by eBay Motors. Bring home the Cup with eBay Guaranteed Fit. Brakes, headlights, all the parts to fit your vehicle the first time, every time. eBay Motors. ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Well, there's 2 chapters to this book, Alex Hayden. Chapter 1 shows Denny Hamlin leading for a long time when we dropped the green flag. He was then bypassed by Christopher Bell. Hamlin's led 58, Bell 36. Chapter 2 saw a pit stop in the option tire being used by Daniel Suarez. Suarez immediately drove to the front of the field and led 29 laps. Now we are in the middle of a long green flag run for just a handful of cars. Everybody else is pitted. Kyle Larson has stayed on the racetrack, has not pitted. Christopher Bell did pit, and now Bell is running him back down.
And just past him, took the race lead away. This time off the turn number 4. Christopher Bell is back at the front of the field here at Richmond. Kyle Larson remains second. Daniel Suarez is third, and let's stop and talk about that. Jason Toy, you've been covering Daniel Suarez. They were the first ones along with Michael McDowell, but the charge that Daniel Suarez and this team did reset their strategy to this point in the race.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about them. They were marred back in the field and not making any advancement because everybody was on the same tire. They had to do something to get a little more of an advantage here. They've got the 1 win in the back pocket to be able to take them on to the playoffs, but they want to improve their standing with that and get some more stage points. And it's paid off for them to get them back up into that top 5, into that second spot. That great call to go to those reds at that part in the stage and then maintain what he was able to do. Second spot right now, but that's one of the options that this tire gives you to be able to do something quickly to advance your position on this track like they did.
Definitely made a move here that got themselves track position. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out when they're down a set of reds to the others, if they come back and take a double stint of them at the end of the race. But a great move to get themselves in stage points position.
147 down. Todd and Christopher Bell back out front. Daniel Suarez goes second. They have recently pitted. Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick go 3-4. They have not pitted since lap 75. Martin Truex Jr. joins that party. That's a good 3-car battle right there between Larson, Reddick, and Truex. And now we see Reddick is on pit road. 82 laps to go in the stage. It is Christopher Bell at the front of the field. C-Bell continues to lead, but on lap 149, Kyle Larson was on pit road.
At lap 149, routine pit work. They held them out as long as they could there to be able to make this a one-stop throughout this run of the second segment. Put on those yellows. Routine fast pit work. 4 tires Sunoco fuel for Kyle Larson.
So that pit stop taking place. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. now making that pit stop here on lap number 152. We've got 78 to go here in stage number 2 of the Cookout 400. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
155 down, 75 to go in the stage, 245 to go in the Cookout 400. It's a Toyota out front. Then you've got Daniel Suarez, and then you've got two more Toyotas in Truex and Hamlin. Quick look at the top 10 here on lap now 156. It's Christopher Bell leading over Daniel Suarez, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano completes the top 5, Ross Chastain 6th. Michael McDowell using the option tire strategy. It's paying off. He right now is 7th over Austin Dillon. Bubba Wallace is 9th. And Chase Elliott completes the top 10.
Not only a Toyota Camry XSE showing the way here in the race with Christopher Bell, Toyota Camry pacing the race here at Richmond Raceway as always. Gives us a chance to welcome the marketing manager, Toyota Racing, back to the broadcast. Mike Pricer, welcome back. How are you?
It's good to be back. It's always love coming here, and Richmond's near and dear to my heart.
So why is the Richmond Raceway and Toyota partnership, which has been over a decade long now, what makes this such a great relationship?
This makes a great relationship because of the relationship we have with the dealers, the local area Richmond Toyota dealers. They just rally around this, and they do a lot with the community with this, whether it's a bike build with Boys and Girls Club or a Special Olympics Virginia. They just rally to use this as a platform to help their community.
Now, there's 4 races remaining, including tonight in the NASCAR Cup Series, before we know who the playoff drivers are going to be. The Xfinity Series will be setting their playoff field here in the coming weeks. But last night here at Richmond Raceway, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series did indeed set their playoff field. How you feeling about Toyota's chances here in the top 3 National Series of NASCAR?
It's been a great season, solid season all around. So if you look on the truck side, Corey Heim and Taylor Gray locked it in yesterday. And then Xfinity side, you have Chandler Smith locked in, and you have Sheldon Creed points in, and we're dying for him to get his first win. He's been so close this year. Then on the Cup side, Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace at 23-11. Tyler Reddick has the most top 10s among all Cup drivers now, and Bubba is now on the inside, but it's going to be close. So, yeah, we're fingers crossed, and hopefully we can get a couple more wins for them. And then JGR, right? You have Christopher, who's out here leading the race, has been hot. The local hometown with Denny has been great, and then of course Martin has just been great as well, and just excited for him to lock it in as well.
So yeah, I would say you guys should be feeling pretty good about how things are going right now. Finally, I can't let you go without giving us your thoughts and perspective and what David Wilson has meant to Toyota and TRD. And TRD president David Wilson announced his retirement just recently. He'll be retiring soon at the end of the year. I got to tell you my side of things. I'm going to miss seeing those Chuck Taylors running up and down the pit lane.
Yeah, that's the inside joke we always have is never send him a pair of sneakers, he's going to wear the Chucks. But, David's worked with Toyota and TRD for 35 years, and he's brought a lot to the program. Just not what you guys see on the track. It's a lot of stuff off the track from leadership and just being a good steward for all of us of how to hold ourselves. And, I talked with him yesterday, and just the one thing he always taught was, is you have to lose with grace, but win with humility, and always be that humble person. And for anybody that knows David and just how humble he is, and that carries over to all of us and his leadership. But more importantly, in David's tenure here is won our first Daytona 500, won 3 Cup championships with them, but it's just not NASCAR, it's NHRA, Formula Drift, IMSA, and so every series that we've competed, we've won championships under his tenure. So near and dear to his heart, and then just really looking forward to the next chapter for him.
Absolutely right. Can't thank you and everybody at Toyota enough for what you continue to do in and around the greater Richmond, Virginia area in this community, and also for the sport of NASCAR racing. So thanks so very much.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Like I said, always love coming here, and looking forward to seeing this how this one plays out today.
Mike Pricer, marketing manager, Toyota Racing, joining us.
Right now, Toyotas are running in position 1, 3, and 4, and 9. Christopher Bell out front, Truex third, Hamlin fourth, and Bubba Wallace is ninth. Nobody in the top 10 is running on the option tire. The highest running driver on the option tire, about to crack into the top 10, is Carson Hocevar, who is about to pass Chase Elliott. 167 laps complete. It's Bell, Suarez, Truex, Hamlin, and Joey Logano. Ross Chastain 6th, Michael McDowell 7th, Austin Dillon 8th, Bubba Wallace 9th, and at the moment it's Chase Elliott that's 10th.
.60 laps to go in stage number 2. Christopher Bell still the race leader. Daniel Suarez second. Martin Truex Jr. currently third. Denny Hamlin is fourth, and Joey Logano rounds out the top 5. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. We welcome you back to Richmond Raceway. Green flag still out. Pit stops taking place again. Jason Toy.
Well, we had a handful of drivers making their way down the pit road, including Michael McDowell, Bubba Wallace at lap 173. Good routine pit work from McDowell, Bubba Wallace team. A little slow on the left rear as Denny Hamlin makes his way down the pit lane right now. He has pit stall number 1. They're going to stick with that regular compound tire, the harder compound tire. They're going to work on the right side. Chassis wrench goes in. Half a round in on the right. Second can of Sunoco fuel is in for Denny Hamlin. He is down and away. Other drivers on the pit road. We've seen Chase Briscoe kind of start things off again. Daniel Suarez at lap 172. Josh Berry at 166. All making their stops here on this end of pit road. Chris Wellner.
Ross Chastain missed pit entry last time by. He comes out on lap 176 for routine service at Prime Tires. Here comes race leader Christopher Bell. A part of that two-stop strategy here in stage number 2. It's back to the Prime Tires as they've done so far tonight. Full can of Sunoco fuel. It's a clean pit stop. Also hidden was Chris Buescher. They believe that went to red tires. So too did Ty Gibbs, who just made his 4-tire change.
So Chase Elliott now is the race leader. His teammates, both of them, Alex Bowman, William Byron, they're both on pit road.
Alex Bowman's going to have a 4-tire change. They made a significant wedge adjustment the last time by. He's not having a handling race car as he wants. William Byron free off the corner. It's back to the Prime Tires for the Chevrolet.
They do have the softer option tire just bolted on the Alex Bowman car as he rolls down the pit lane. So Todd Gordon, we've had now nearly a half of a race. Different strategies. You're seeing how this is playing off. Do you see a specific strategy that you're liking to this point?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think there's different strategies that work for different situations. You know, if you look at Daniel Suarez, they were buried back there mid-pack. They took the reds, got themselves track position. He maintained. He was less than a second off of Christopher Bell when this cycle started, so he's gotten there. But I think the guys that have 2 sets left, they're going to be in a great position for stage 3 to take themselves to victory lane.
Tyler Reddick is now out front because Chase Elliott just made a 4-tire stop, and he is down and away. So it's Reddick, Larson, Daniel Suarez up to third. He pitted on lap 172. Kyle Busch is up to fourth. He needs a caution flag, obviously, Alex. He was well down the leaderboard, a lap down, and he just needs something good to happen. It has not been the kind of race that we expected for a six-time winner here.
No, given the fact that he's a lap down is significant, because it makes me think about this thought that Kyle Busch here at Richmond Raceway has completed all but one lap in his 37 Cup Series races here. He's completed 14,835 out of a possible 14,836 laps. Now he's going to lose another one of those unless he can get that back before the end of this race.
Right now he is running in position number 5, but that does not tell the story. What tells the story is the fact that he is coming back onto pit road. That will put him a lap down once again. Jason Toy, Kyle Busch headed your way. High hopes coming in, but it just has not been a Kyle Busch kind of night.
Well, the handling went away early on the race car, and they were able to level it out on that first run. Then they came in on their pit stop, and the left rear tire came off as they dropped the jack a little too early. This time, they hit the mark perfectly. They put the red tires on. They're going for the softer compound to try to get some of that back here for Kyle Busch.
So Kyle Busch will make his way back out on the racetrack, driving with a, I guess you can say, a support on his wrist after the crash in the Brickyard 400. He's got a sprained wrist, and he's going to continue to fight on here. Tough guy, tough race car driver, but it makes it a little bit worse, Jeff, when you don't have a good handling race car the next time out.
Boy, it's just been a long, long year for Kyle Busch. It's already been a long night for Kyle Busch. On the option tire, he'll try to make something happen, but he's going to have to do it from a lap down. 183 down, 47 to go in the stage. Weigh in on this, Mike Bagley. We've got Reddick, who hasn't pitted, out front of Suarez, who has, in front of Kyle Larson, who hasn't pitted, and Christopher Bell has. Stenhouse, Hamlin, Keselowski. Lap traffic, heavy traffic. Make heads or tails of it for us, can you?
Well, I think we're still seeing it sort itself out. Yeah, we've got a lot of leaders that are in between these lap cars that you just documented. And then you've got teams on yellow tires, you got teams on red tires, you got teams that have handling problems. I mean, we've got quite the buffet in front of us right now, and we're all just trying to work through it together and try to find that race-winning strategy that at lap 185 is like a needle in a haystack.
Challenge change for the race lead. Daniel Suarez has just blown by Tyler Reddick to pick up the race lead here up off of turn number 4. Suarez continuing a terrific start to this Cookout 400. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and take you down the leaderboard and show you how they're running here, presented by hands-free Skechers slip-ins. No bending down, no touching your shoes, just step in and go with hands-free Skechers slip-ins.
And this look at the leaderboard comes at lap 187 with Daniel Suarez out front here at the Richmond Raceway, leading over Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and Denny Hamlin. That's your top 5. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. still needs to visit pit road, but he's 6th at the moment. Joey Logano 7th, Brad Keselowski 8th, Austin Dillon 9th, and Martin Truex Jr. is 10th.
Running in 11th is Michael McDowell. 12th is Bubba Wallace. 13th is Ross Chastain. Carson Hocevar goes 14th. Josh Berry is 15th. Ryan Preece 16th, and Ryan Blaney 17th. William Byron is 18th. Chase Elliott 19th. And 20th, and the last car currently on the lead lap is Austin Cindric.
One lap down is Ty Gibbs. Also a lap down in 22nd, Chris Buescher. Alex Bowman 23rd, Zane Smith 24th, Kyle Busch now back to 25th after that pit stop. 26th, Chase Briscoe. 27th, Todd Gilliland. Noah Gregson 28th, Ty Dillon 29th, and Eric Jones is 30th.
Running in 31st is Daniel Hemrick. 32nd is John Hunter Nemechek. 33rd is Justin Haley. 34th, Harrison Burton. 35th, Riley Herbst. 36th is Corey LaJoie. 37th is Parker Retzlaff. We're down to 40 laps to go in stage number 2. Daniel Suarez back to the front of the field, and he's got a 2 full second lead now over Christopher Bell, who's up to second. Tyler Reddick is third, but Reddick is on older tires than the top 2. Then you've got Denny Hamlin, who's running fourth, and Kyle Larson rounding out the top 5. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Back here at Richmond Raceway, the lights illuminated here, sun on the horizon. What a beautiful day to go racing here in Richmond, Virginia, as we stay under the green flag. Currently our longest green flag run of the race at 119 laps and counting.
Daniel Suarez out front in his Chevrolet, leading over Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and Denny Hamlin. Kyle Larson fifth, Joey Logano, Austin Dillon running right together for sixth. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Michael McDowell, and Bubba Wallace. Outside turn 3 is Mike Bagley, trying to just keep it all sorted out. Right now we have 20 cars on the lead lap, and the option tire, Mike Bagley, has made it interesting.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot on NASCAR Live Race Day and during our race coverage here tonight, the options that these teams have. The traditional prime tires, what they normally run, and then the softer tires or the red tires. When Daniel Suarez and Michael McDowell went to those tires early on in the race, they really made an impact, and for them, it is a lasting impact, while some are new to the reds and they're trying to get used to them. It's been interesting to see who has been on which tire and the impact that it's made based on their lot of that scoring monitor life that they have right now. So we have some answers, but obviously a lot of answers still to come as we've just crossed the halfway point.
Top 5 currently are Daniel Suarez, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Larson. Of those top 5, third place Reddick, fifth place Larson are on a different pit cycle than first, second, and fourth. So let's find out a little bit more specifically about the third place runner Tyler Reddick with Chris Wilner. This trip to pit road is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Chris?
Well, it's another wrinkle to the strategy. You know, all the talk this week has been about prime versus option tire, but people often forget that there's multiple pit strategies in terms of when to take tires, especially here in stage number 2. The option for Tyler Reddick after running mid-pack for much of the opening stage was we want track position, but we also want to save our option tires for later in the race. So they chose to split stage 2 in half. They are running their longest run here at the current rate of stage number 2, but they're maintaining that third position. So Billy Scott opting to go with the one-stop strategy. Todd Gordon, I'll get your opinion. What do you think about a one-stopper here in stage 2 and saving those red tires that still have 2 of them late in the race?
I love the saving the red tires. I'm not sure on the one-stop strategy. What I've found here at Richmond, when they seem like they can go either way, I want to be on the dominant strategy because you lose a lot of track position, you lose a lot of track time as you're getting passed by guys on the other strategy. So we'll see where it plays out. Obviously, a couple of these guys, they're up forward, but see what this does in the next 27 laps, how much of this they can hang on to.
We now have 21 cars on the lead lap. Why? Because down and out and having an awful night was Kyle Busch. He was 1 lap down. Mike Bagley, he's not anymore. He's on the option tire. He looks like Superman out there. He's back on the lead lap, and he is climbing the leaderboard as the fastest car on the racetrack.
What a run right now in this race for Kyle Busch. We've documented the challenges that he has had all season long and in this race to date. And even with some missteps in this race, perhaps maybe this option tire is something that they've been waiting for on that Richard Childress Racing team. Right now, he is side by side with Daniel Suarez. He's 3 wide. Parker Retzlaff in there as well, as he has come back to life on that red tire.
Yeah, he has, trying to do all he can to get back in the mix and make things work in their favor, as we're just past the halfway point in the Cookout 400 here at Richmond Raceway. 129 consecutive green flag laps. That now makes it 14 straight NASCAR Cup Series races here at Richmond Raceway. Jeff, we've had a green flag stretch over 100 laps.
Yeah, we're going to take this perhaps all the way to the end of stage 2, which is now just 23 laps away. So if no caution prior, we'll see one at the end of stage number 2, and that will be 22 laps away next time by for Daniel Suarez. You know, it's one thing to use the option tire to get a brief advantage. It's another thing what Daniel Suarez is doing. He used the option tire to get to the lead. He gave it up to Christopher Bell. They went back onto pit road. Todd Gordon, they put on the primary tires. It's paid off. That car is fast. That team is good here tonight.
Yeah, they've done a great job. And there's been a lot of documented cases where drivers have talked about, my car drives differently when it gets up in clean air, when it gets forward and it's not in as big a dirty air. When you're mired back there in the back, you've got to find a way to get yourself forward. They did a great job of using the option tire to get their track position back. But as we saw, he stayed within a second of Christopher Bell, and they short stopped him and got the track position. He's driven out now to a 2.3 second lead over Christopher Bell.
Yeah, he has. The other driver on that exact same strategy is Michael McDowell, who is running in the 7th spot. He was a lap down, got a free pass, put those option tires on early on in the race, and was able to drive his way back to the lead lap and have success.
And the piece that's going to be interesting is we get to the final stage, when these other teams have the opportunity to put the reds on, how far will it penalize these guys back out of the track position? It's going to be fun to watch how this works out.
That and so much more still to go, with 19 laps to go in stage number 2 of the Cookout 400. No change at the front of the field. Daniel Suarez continues to show the way. He's now led 58 consecutive laps. That ties him for second on the lap leaderboard with Denny Hamlin. Christopher Bell's led the most laps to this point, a total of 69. Bell currently is second. 16 to go in stage 2 from Richmond Raceway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Motor Racing Network's coverage from Richmond Raceway is brought to you by hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Just step in and go.
12 laps to go in stage number 2. The opening stage was won by Christopher Bell. He scored the most points so far today. If you take a look at the point standings as they run right now, at the drop of the green flag, Chris Buescher was in the 15th spot. Buescher now is hanging on right now, only 3 points to the good. He's pinned a lap down as we run. Ross Chastain was also on the positive side when the green flag flew. He is currently below the cut line now by 1 point. What about Bubba Wallace? He started the race underneath the cut line. Bubba has climbed from 17th up to 15th as he currently runs, but he's only 6 points to the good.
141 laps consecutively under the green flag on a 3/4 mile racetrack. You stretch them out and spread them out all the way around the racetrack. And Mike Bagley, you had a soundbite from Chase Briscoe as to how you run this racetrack, conserving tires. And if not, Mike, you pay the penalty.
He had a great line in the tees before we got to race coverage tonight, talking about you really got to take care, because a lot of these races, you run qualifying laps all race long. Well, here, because this racing surface is so old, it's 20 years old. Last time this place was paved was in 2004. It has gotten to be a cheese grater. It'll chew tires up. So you really have to be disciplined early on in a run so you don't pay a penalty late. And he told us earlier that a lot of times you're going to pay a penalty that you didn't see coming, and then that penalty is going to come due. So it's all about being very disciplined, being very patient, and also trying to manage these strategies with different types of tires. These drivers and teams really have a handful here tonight.
And as we see that, Christopher Bell's been a great example of this, just figuring out how to get the most out of his race car in the end. He's solidly a 1/10 of a second faster than Daniel Suarez, only a second back with 8 laps to go, and no traffic in between them. Going to be interesting to see if he can run him down.
Let's pick up a good race for the number 4 spot off turn number 4. Joey Logano has opened up the inside lane on Tyler Reddick. Just behind them in the mix also is Austin Dillon. They work with the lap car of Chris Buescher.
And they try to go 3 wide there for a moment. Reddick went all the way to the outside of the racetrack. Did that not work too well for him? He's got to bail out of the gas as Logano passes Buescher. Now Reddick and Dillon will do the same.
So it's Suarez, Bell, Hamlin, Logano, Reddick, top 5. Here's a stat for you. Daniel Suarez has never led a lap at the Richmond Raceway. He's now led 69 laps here tonight. He has not won a stage. He didn't win one last year. He has not won one this year. He's 4 away from picking up his first stage win.
What he does have is a race win. He got that at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and he is going to be in the playoffs. But this is something, you know, we've talked about this. We talked about it in NASCAR Live Race Day with Mike, yourself, Todd, and me, Jeff, that out of the break that we just came out of with the sport, the Olympic break, some teams had some momentum. Could they sustain it over the break? Some teams were struggling just a bit, maybe stubbed their toe. Now that they've had a chance to reset, can they pick back up? It's looking like Daniel Suarez and this race team at Trackhouse is doing the latter. They are now beginning to come on with some momentum.
Yeah, he left before the break with a nice 8th place finish at Indy, and right now he is leading by a long shot. Let's go for a ride with the race leader. He is making his way off of turn number 2.
And he is racing to the outside of some lap traffic as he exits turn 2 and races his way up the back straightaway, putting a lap on the Josh Berry car in turn 3.
Off turn number 4, second place Christopher Bell is catching race leader Daniel Suarez. Although we're down to 2 laps to go in the stage, Suarez goes back to turn 2.
Suarez diving down to the bottom of the racetrack off the end of the front straightaway. Christopher Bell using the inside lane as well. They've got about 8 car lengths of real estate and the lap car of Josh Berry separating them.
Daniel Suarez will bring his car off of turn number 4. 1 more lap in stage number 2. 229 laps down, looking for his first stage win of the season.
Bringing that Chevrolet back into turns 1 and 2, hugging the inside line at the bottom of the racetrack. He has dispensed with all the lap traffic virtually by himself out as he comes back to the entrance of turn number 3.
Daniel Suarez will ride in the middle of the racetrack and just simply get back on the accelerator to get it back to the green and white checkered flag. And Daniel Suarez indeed picks up the stage 2 win. Christopher Bell will finish the stage 2nd. Denny Hamlin will be 3rd. Joey Logano comes across the line 4th. Austin Dillon will finish the stage in position number 5. 6th is Michael McDowell. 7th, Tyler Reddick. 8th will be Bubba Wallace. 9th, Carson Hocevar. And 10th will be Martin Truex Jr.
And now we see the caution flag fly as well on lap 230. Stage 2 is complete. You just heard the top 10 across the line presented by Sunoco. From fueling your favorite NASCAR teams to filling up at the pump, Sunoco is trusted to help vehicles perform at their peak. Sunoco, performance is what we do. At the end of stage 2, we have 17 cars on the lead lap. Josh Berry should be getting the free pass. Kyle Busch, 1 spot short of getting it. Pit stops coming up shortly from Richmond Raceway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Under the caution flag now, we'll wait for pit road to open up. Daniel Suarez has led 78 laps. C. Bell has led 69. Hamlin 58. Kyle Larson 17. Daniel Suarez again, I mean, it bears repeating, using strategy to get the car from, what you say, 19th, give or take, all the way to the lead, and they have been rock solid ever since.
Yeah, it's got to be good to be Daniel Suarez right now. He won a race at Atlanta earlier this year. He got married. He became a citizen of the United States of America, and he just signed a contract extension. Life's good right now for Daniel Suarez.
And his teammate Ross Chastain right now is 12th. So both of the Trackhouse cars running in the top 12 and looking good. The pit lane is open. Green light is on. What will they do? They have a choice. Option tire, primary tire. Let's find out. The leaders are on pit road in front of Chris Wilner.
Well, the Christopher Bell machine was worried about maybe keeping track position. If a lot of drivers take that option tire, he's going to pull his Toyota to the attention of his crew, and it will be the option tires going aboard. Your second place runner, Christopher Bell. Also, Sunoco fuel going in. Tyler Reddick is in on the one-stop strategy. They've got prime tires and red options. For Austin Dillon, what an ace he's had. Let's go to Jason Toy.
Daniel Suarez hits the mark. He's got a slow stop. He's going to jump right out. Matter of fact, nose to nose here with Christopher Bell as they work their way off the pit lane. Denny Hamlin down here. tires. Those are the normal tires here for Kyle Larson as he gets down to the way. We're going to follow up on Denny Hamlin and see what he put on.
Denny Hamlin will come off the pit lane third. Christopher Bell's pit crew got the job done. They're going to pick up the race lead. Suarez will be second. Hamlin will be third. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. We welcome you back to Richmond Raceway as we continue under our second caution flag of the race. We've only been slowed by caution because of the stage endings. It's kind of an eye-opener, Jeff. It really is. How this track has evolved, given that it's widened out so much. Drivers have so many different options in the corners.
And you've got 37 cars still running around this racetrack as we get ready to go here. Next time by, we'll see the indication back into the green shortly. Before that, though, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. Welcome back to Richmond Raceway. We're running the Cookout 400 with 160 laps to go. Next time by, we'll put them under the green flag. At the front of the field at the moment is Christopher Bell and Daniel Suarez, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and Austin Dillon. My name is Jeff Striegel alongside Alex Hayden and the crew chief, the championship winning crew chief, Todd Gordon. On pit road, Jason Toy and Chris Wilner. Out in turn number 3 on a beautiful Sunday night in Richmond, it is Mike Bagley.
The field is coming to the Geico Restart Zone, presented by Geico. Is your insurance playbook lacking? Switch to Geico and get all your insurance coverage from one place. Go to geico.com today to get started.
A number of these teams electing to go to the option tire, Todd Gordon.
I only think that the 99 car is the only one not on the option tire at this point. This is really setting up to see how this restart goes and how wide it gets into turn 1.
It's going to be a sitting duck. Let's find out as the field now makes its way off of turn number 4. We'll go back under the green flag on lap 240. Christopher Bell on the inside. Daniel Suarez on the outside.
Bell will clear everybody coming into turn 1. Take sole possession of the lead. Here's Hamlin to the inside of Suarez for second. Suarez in the middle of a 3 wide. He's beginning to drop back after now being passed by Logano and Reddick.
Logano on the move on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get to the inside inside of Reddick. Reddick has a big wiggle up off of turn number 4. However, he tries to cross over, can't do it. Logano again on the move.
4-car breakaway. Logano a part of the 4 that have broken away from the field. 4 wide to the back straightaway, and Suarez is in the middle of it. They're banging off each other, coming off the end of the back straightaway, and now 3 wide back to the corner.
And that's Michael McDowell on the inside. Bubba Wallace in the middle. Ross Chastain top side. They were 3 wide right behind that as well. Let's follow Logano. Again, 3 wide in turn 1.
Here's Joey Logano now racing in position number 3. Single file among the front 5 or 6. Double wide, mid-pack looking 3 wide. Nose to tail up top for the lead.
Great racing here on this restart as they come down to the line. Christopher Bell has a car length advantage on Denny Hamlin. Then it's Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace.
Everybody hugging the inside line off the end of the back straightaway through turns 1 and 2. Watching Daniel Suarez now. He is mid-pack and getting blown away. Right now, just trying to find a place to race where he's not being bypassed. He's run alongside Austin Cindric right now.
Yeah, and good luck with that, right, Mike? He is down 15 positions in 6 laps. The option tire working, the primary tire right now going backwards.
And that's what Daniel's on. He's on the yellow sidewalls. Everybody else up front on the reds, led by Christopher Bell.
And that is part of the option and the strategy these teams have had. Here's the challenge for second. It's Joey Logano on the march. To the inside of Denny Hamlin, Logano's got the spot.
Logano will elbow his way to the bottom of the racetrack and to the second position. So it's Toyota, Ford, Toyota. Bell, Logano, Hamlin, your top 3, with Tyler Reddick right now 3 car lengths back and forth.
Then you've got Austin Dillon running 5th, Bubba Wallace 6th, Ross Chastain in front of Michael McDowell. Then comes Carson Hocevar. Then comes Martin Truex Jr. That's your top 10.
They work their way back into the corner. No one really stepping out into 3 or 4 wide territory. Double wide max after everything begins to settle down after this most recent restart.
It's about, Todd Gordon, getting your track position on restarts and then trying to maintain it and hang on to it. Let's talk a little bit now about Daniel Suarez. Since they made the call early on to put on that set of option tires and get the track position, the price they're paying right now for not being able to match the rest of the field.
Well, they drove from 16th to the lead and a 3-second lead when they had put them on and nobody else had them. Now they're seeing the opposite effect of that. Went from the outside of the front row to the last car in lead lap. It's painful here, but it's part of the strategies of what happens. Where you want to use those tires, how you want to manufacture your day. They've kind of fallen back into the place that they were before they took advantage of that advantage early.
Well, right now Suarez is 16th. Josh Berry is there. If Josh gets around Daniel Suarez, you're right, he will be the last car on the lead lap. We're talking about a driver that has led 79 circuits here tonight in Daniel Suarez. C. Bell leading over Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, and Austin Dillon. That's your top 5, Mike.
Here they come. Bell leading Logano mightily. 5 car lengths or so. Same back to Hamlin. Problem for Martin Truex Jr. off turn number 2. He'll pull his car to the inside of the racetrack. He's coming to pit road. Martin Truex Jr. headed to the pit lane at lap 250.
And he did put on the option tires on the last pit stop. He hits the pit lane under green, hits pit lane speed. Jason Toy, he's making his way all the way down to you.
Long, agonizing run down, 40 miles per hour all the way down toward turn number 1 of pit road here for Martin Truex Jr. as they count him down into his pit stall. 3, 4, actually 2 and 1 there, but it is an internal issue. Smoke billowing out of the hood here for Martin Truex Jr. This one could be catastrophic.
He led 228 laps here in the spring. He came up short then. He's run up front all night tonight, and it looks like he's going to come up short again. C. Bell leading, Christopher Bell, that is, over Joey Logano on lap 252. The rest of the top 5, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, and Austin Dillon. The hood is up. The car is behind the wall for Martin Truex Jr. as we are down now to 144 laps remaining. Christopher Bell by 5 car lengths over Joey Logano. Joey's got 5 over Denny Hamlin. Another 5 back to Tyler Reddick. 5 more back to Austin Dillon. Back with more in a moment from Richmond Raceway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. .141 laps remain here at the Richmond Raceway. Christopher Bell out front. His teammate Martin Truex Jr. is on pit road. Actually, he's not on pit road. He's behind pit road. And Jason Toy, what's the latest?
Martin, you had a fast one there, buddy. What finally happened? You had a fast car going. What finally happened?
I just lost the motor. I don't know. It's just started missing all of a sudden and losing power, so I came down pit road to check it out. It was on fire.
All right, there you go. Had a little bit of flame out the back end of the motor towards the dash. The crew put it out. But Martin Truex Jr. done for the night.
That is a tough break. He will finish dead last in 37th and will take a major hit in the championship points. Remember, he does not have a win under his belt as of yet in the season. He did, currently 81 points to the good with 3 races to go before we know who our playoff field will be.
And we're down to 138. Christopher Bell, Logano, Hamlin, nothing has changed there. Christopher Bell pacing the field. That lead has grown from 5 car lengths, maybe out to 8. Another 8 back to Denny Hamlin as Christopher Bell just out front, logging laps. He has just led his 96th lap here tonight.
So why don't we give you a mid-race update brought to you by Cookout. Cookout and Richmond. Fast service and fast cars. Awesome food at max speed. Cookout is where the hamburgers are always char-grilled, always fresh, and never frozen. Race through the Cookout drive-thru for a Cookout tray and ice-cold Coca-Cola.
Denny Hamlin took the green flag and led 58 laps, and then Christopher Bell got by him, led a handful, and then the option tire came into play. Daniel Suarez puts it on and drives immediately to the front and leads 79 laps. He's the only car not on the option tire at the moment, and he is running back in 16th position, the last car on the lead lap at the moment with only 135 laps remaining. The top 5, Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, and Austin Dillon, and what a drive it's been for Austin Dillon.
It really has been something that this team has been desperately needing this year, having some success, and it hasn't been just today, Todd. They showed speed in the 45-minute practice session and also qualifying.
Yeah, I talked to Justin earlier today, and they were fast, not only the fast lap, but their 10 lap, their 15 lap average. They were top 3 in both of those. Really felt like the weekend or the 2 weeks off, they really worked on some things. They took what they've been doing, the short track stuff, anything that showed a glimmer of hope, they've kind of been working on trying to come up with a package that works around here. And he talked about Austin Dillon's, he's really good at Richmond. He understands managing tires. He's done a really good job of it. They've had a solid run today.
I know, Mike Bagley, you were watching a pretty good battle right there for the 9th position. Hocevar had it. And just a moment ago, Ryan Blaney able to dive down to the inside and take that spot away.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney making short work of Carson Hocevar here as we work through the later stages of this race. And once he has made that pass, He's been able to leave Hocevar, that is, by about 3 car lengths and immediately go to work on the Ross Chastain car.
132 laps remain in the Cookout 400. Christopher Bell's lead continues to be a consistent 1.5 seconds over second place Joey Logano. Denny Hamlin is third, Tyler Reddick is fourth, and Austin Dillon rounds out the top 5. 130 laps remain from Richmond Raceway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Christopher Bell up front by 1.3 seconds, nothing changing there. The thought process now, Jeff begins to think, okay, when do we come to pit lane again, based off of everything we've been seeing through the opening 274 laps of the race?
Well, how about seeing and hearing? Because as we heard from the crew chief, Todd Gordon, he said anywhere from 30 to 50 on the option tire. We're 36 laps into that run right now. We were just talking to the break with Jason Toy and Chris Wilner. They're saying at or around 50 laps in. We are starting to see significant fall off on some drivers. And now, as a matter of fact, Daniel Suarez, last lap on the primary tire, 37 laps into the run, he's running 16th. He's the fastest car on the racetrack.
Yeah, this is the point. We talked about we had 25 to 30 laps of an advantage, and then you go the other way. This is the point at which he starts to see it coming back, but he's lost 16.8 seconds to the leader in all of this time. It's going to be hard to make that back. It'd be wonder if they're going to think about a single stop strategy, maybe be on yellows and yellows, save a set of reds for the end, or whether they'll all come here in the next 15 laps and split it into doubles.
With a win under your belt like Suarez and that team has, does this afford them that opportunity to take that kind of a gamble?
Well, I think when you're looking at it now, if he stays on par and just puts yellows on like everybody else and then puts reds on with everybody else at the end, he's probably going to be stuck back here in 15th, 16th position. So why not take the gamble of single stopping it and going to the point, seeing if you get a late caution so you've got a set of tires left.
Well, the other car that is fast on the racetrack right now is Blaney. Remember, he got by Hocevar, then Chastain, then McDowell, then Bubba Wallace. Ryan Blaney is up to 6th. Kyle Larson is on pit road.
Kyle Larson's coming in to kind of start the brigade here. We saw earlier in Harrison Burton come in about 2 laps ago. 4 tires, Sunoco Fuel. They put the yellow regular harder compound tire here for Kyle Larson. And Sunoco Fuel for him, he's down on the way. How about in front of you, Chris?
Well, his teammate William Byron is in, Sunoco fuel. They're already working to the left side, changing out those option tires, putting on back the prime tires. William Byron is down and away a little bit early, but here comes the strategy. Jason Toy, Denny Hamlin coming to you.
Works his way all the way down to turn 1 into pit road. He has pit stall number 1. He's got those red tires. They started to drop off there on the back end of the run. They're going to put back those yellow regular compound tires back for Denny Hamlin. Right side work complete. They'll swing around to the left side. One single pump of the jack as they'll put him back up with left side tires. There he goes, Denny Hamlin with Sunoco fuel down and away. Chris.
Joey Logano is in. Tight race car for him. He says it's a 3 tight on exit. They made a little bit of adjustment, putting the prime tires back on. Tyler Reddick, whose single stop stage number 2 is in. Prime tires going aboard that Toyota. He's down and away.
Green flag pit stops taking place here at or around lap 280. Here is Christopher Bell now coming to pit lane. The race leaders on pit road.
Right side tires going on for Christopher Bell. Now they'll swing around. It'll be left side tires.
Christopher Bell is in. He said the rears were killed. The prime tires are down and away. The crew's celebrating a flawless 4-tire pit stop. The prime tires on for Christopher Bell.
Austin Dillon also making a stop, and now pit road, at least for the moment, is empty, but not anymore, because here comes Austin Cindric onto pit road. Chase Elliott has yet to come to pit road. Let's cover the stop. Austin Cindric is there.
Austin Cindric is in. It's going to be a 4-tire change. They had their last set of red tires already on, so it's back to the prime tires. They made their bed. Now they have to lay in it, but Austin Cindric also power steering issues, but he's down and away.
It's going to have to man up here in these last 118 laps on a short track with power steering problems. Chase Elliott now is the race leader. 3 of the 4 Hendrick Motorsports cars came to pit road. As a matter of fact, here is Alex Bowman. He was busted for speeding on pit road. He's going to have to make a pass-through penalty here. That's going to be an absolute dagger in his chances to win here tonight.
Got a battle for the lead shaping up, although it's over because Chase Elliott's going to give it up and come to pit road. He was running side by side with Daniel Suarez, and we understand right now we've got another penalty coming. Is this one for Christopher Bell?
It is. Christopher Bell busted for speeding on the pit lane. He's going to have to do a pass-through penalty, and that will really put a wrinkle in his sheets trying to get to victory lane in this one. Tough break for C. Bell as he makes his way through pit road at pit road speed. Chris Wilner, Chase Elliott was just on the pit lane.
He was. That Coca-Cola colors is already down and past my position on pit road. The prime tires are on. His teammate, though, you guys talked about Alex Bowman with the penalty. Also another driver out of the red option tires. So a couple Hendrick cars already out of their allotment here tonight.
Everybody has pitted with the exception of one. The one is Daniel Suarez, who is now, I think we can confirm, on a different cycle than everybody else. Suarez right now back out front. He leads by 8 seconds, but that lead is dwindling in a hurry. Hamlin is second, 8 back. Logano is third. Then you've got Tyler Reddick, Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain. All of these cars have pitted. William Byron, Michael McDowell, and then Kyle Busch. Kyle has yet also to come to pit road. So Suarez has stayed out. Kyle Busch again gambling, trying to get a caution flag. Suarez, a different strategy. Out front, he's got one set of option tires like everybody else, laying in the pits, ready to be bolted on.
Matter of fact, Christopher Bell, after doing the pass-through penalty for speeding, just unlapped himself around Daniel Suarez. So Christopher Bell is back on the tail end of the lead lap. For Christopher Bell, this is the 3rd consecutive race at Richmond. He's been busted for speeding. He's got some work to do to get back to the top. Denny Hamlin 3.9 seconds behind the race leader, Daniel Suarez. Hamlin is faster to the tune of 0.7 of a second a lap, faster than the race leader. So with 109 laps remaining, by the time we come back from break, I think we're going to have ourselves a battle for the race lead. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Back at Richmond Raceway, Daniel Suarez is no longer the race leader. We mentioned that Denny Hamlin was running 0.7 of a second a lap faster than Suarez. So I think Suarez knew what was about to happen. Daniel Suarez just gave up the lead, went to pit lane in front of Jason Toy.
Great work, routine pit work for Daniel Suarez's crew. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. They stuck with the yellow regular tire here. That leaves them with that softer compound red set for later on in this race. Trying to two-stop this final segment here. What they did on that last run was kept him out there long enough to continue to tell him how far away the newer tires were and let him by. But once the time started dwindling down with Denny Hamlin, they knew it was time to bring him in. They came in, put on those 4 fresh Goodyear Racing Eagles, and sent him out on the way.
103 laps remain. Denny Hamlin by just 2 car lengths over Joey Logano. That is the battle for the lead. It's Hamlin, Logano, Reddick, Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace, top 5. Mike Bagley, Denny Hamlin off 2.
And he's in lap traffic. Logano soon will be as well. Here comes Denny Hamlin halfway up the back straightaway. Give it a good look to John Hunter Nemechek, trying to put him a lap in arrears.
They do have that traffic they're going to have to deal with, and it's a significant amount of traffic. Here they are off turn number 4. Nemechek keeps his Toyota to the bottom of the racetrack. Denny Hamlin flies around topside.
Got to go to the outside of the racetrack. Denny Hamlin dials up the second lane, and he has a problem for just a moment getting around the Nemechek car. He'll finally do it. Now, 4 car lengths in Nemechek separate the top 2.
16 cars on the lead lap. 1 lap down, free pass position for Todd Gilliland. Then comes Daniel Suarez. He's a lap down as we pick that battle up for the lead. Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano.
Again, lap traffic still a factor for these two. Denny Hamlin has already put a lap on John Hunter Nemechek. Joey Logano will step to the outside and do the same. But lap cars of Noah Gragson, Kyle Busch, and Zane Smith, along with Ty Dillon, directly ahead.
That lap on Nemechek is his 3rd lap down now for John Hunter Nemechek. The battle for the free pass position is over immediately. Daniel Suarez has just passed Todd Gilliland. So Suarez, on the different pit cycle right now, is 17th, the first car 1 lap down.
Hamlin, Logano, Austin Dillon. He has run top 5, top 6, top 7 all night long. And right now he is up to 3rd. It's been a great night for him. He is running in front of Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace. Bubba's been top 5 most of the night. 6th, Ross Chastain. William Byron 7th. Michael McDowell has been top 10 all night after he rallied back from being a lap down on the option tire. Kyle Larson right now is 9th and Josh Berry is 10th.
And that's how they run right now with 99 laps to go. There are 4 races to go before the playoffs are set. Every position on the track matters. If you think we're just kind of blowing smoke, how about this? Bubba Wallace started below the cut line at the start of the race. He's now 4 points to the good in 15th. and Ross Chastain is the last one in by 1 single point. That means 1 spot on the racetrack. Chastain is in, and Chris Buescher is 1 out.
Right now, Chastain running in position number 6. I gave you the top 10. There is only 15 cars on the lead lap. The other 5 running 11th and having a good night since the drop of the green flag 303 laps ago. Carson Hocevar, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. having a good night tonight. He's 12th. Christopher Bell right now after the penalty running 13th in front of Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney being the last car on the lead lap. Daniel Suarez at the moment in the free pass position as he just passed Kyle Busch, also a lap down.
Well, as a matter of fact, Daniel Suarez may unlap himself the old-fashioned way here as he's about to run up on the back bumper of Denny Hamlin, the race leader. As a matter of fact, he looks to the inside in turn number 2.
Here's Denny Hamlin trying to fend off the advances of Daniel Suarez. Suarez is there, side by side of the back straightaway. More lap traffic directly ahead, and Suarez will get by him.
And so that will put 16 cars back on the lead lap. Daniel Suarez doing it the hard way, but he's fast.
And that's yellow tire to yellow tire. It's just a 13 lap advantage because they pitted later in the cycle there. Be interesting to see where this drives to and just see how they can strategize their way forward from here. What happens when it comes to the last cycle?
94 laps to go in the Cookout 400, and here's how they're running, presented by hands-free Skechers slip-ins. No bending down, no touching your shoes. Just step in and go with hands-free Skechers slip-ins.
Denny Hamlin showing the way on lap 307. He's doing so in front of Joey Logano, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, and Bubba Wallace. That's your top 5. Ross Chastain is 6th. William Byron 7th. Michael McDowell 8th. 9th is Kyle Larson. 10th is Josh Berry.
Running in 11th is Carson Hocevar. 12th is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Christopher Bell, after a speeding penalty on pit road, is 13th. Chase Elliott is 14th. Ryan Blaney 15th. Daniel Suarez, the last car now on the lead lap, he's 16th. Kyle Busch, the first car, 1 lap down in 17th. Todd Gilliland 18th, Chase Briscoe 19th, and Chris Buescher is 20th.
Austin Cindric 21st, Brad Keselowski 22nd, Noah Gragson 23rd, 24th to Ryan Preece, Zane Smith 25th, Ty Gibbs 26th, Alex Bowman is running 27th, Harrison Burton 28th, 29th is Eric Jones, and Daniel Hemrick is 30th.
Running 31st is John Hunter Nemechek. 32nd is Ty Dillon. 33rd is Justin Haley. Corey LaJoie is 34th. Riley Herbst 35th. Parker Retzlaff 36th. The only car out of the race is Martin Truex Jr. in 37th. Battle for second is side by side off turn number 4. Austin Dillon has caught Joey Logano. Goes to the inside. As a matter of fact, they're going to be forced 3 wide by the lap machine of Ty Dillon on fresher tires. But that battle for second continues wheel to wheel.
Wheel to wheel, Ford and Chevy. Austin Dillon, what a great night that he is having right now. He's about to take the second spot away, but not if Joey Logano has anything to say about it.
Chevrolet and Ford. Dillon in the Chevrolet. Logano Logano in the Ford. Dillon on the inside trying to get by. Logano trying to hold him down. They continue to go wheel to wheel.
That forces Joey Logano to take a higher line entry into turn number 1, and that gives Austin Dillon the entire bottom lane of the racetrack, and he'll use it through turn 1, through turn 2, to stay side by side with Logano for second.
And they're both running down the race leader, Denny Hamlin. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Denny Hamlin continues to show the way. Joey Logano and Austin Dillon continue their fight for the second position. However, at the moment, Logano will hang on to the second spot as Austin Dillon's forced to kind of cool his jets just a bit. But Denny Hamlin, with 82 laps to go, back at the front here at Richmond, and that is not a surprise.
How about Austin Dillon? The last time he had a top 5 finish was 50 races ago. Dillon right now has just been rock solid. Todd, real quick before they run down the race leader, and they're working on doing that right now, talking about Logano and Austin. How do you explain one car in Dillon having such a good night and the team car in Kyle Busch having such a dismal night?
Yeah, I think Justin Alexander and Austin Dillon, the chemistry there, we've seen that kind of grow through this. And the off weeks, I think, was good. I had the conversation with Justin Alexander earlier today, and they're working on the right things. They're trying to build the right things. They're having to get rid of mistakes. That's the biggest thing they've said. They haven't had speed, but they've made too many mistakes that cost them finishes. So they're putting a good race together today and up there battling for a top 5 position.
They've been top 5 car for the better part of the night. They had a great practice yesterday, great qualifying effort, and that's parlaying obviously here through the opening 321 laps. But they still have 78 laps to try to make sure they stay where they're at.
Boy, I really like, we talked a lot about Austin Dillon. I really love the run that Michael McDowell has had tonight. They just continue to show speed week in and week out. Are we talking to them in victory lane, every other week? No. But do we talk about them every week? Absolutely. Todd Gilliland has been fast more times than not, and Michael McDowell just stringing together a solid performance here tonight.
That's Front Row Motorsports as a whole. Todd Gilliland's led more laps this year than he has in his entire NASCAR Cup Series career. He also is a driver that signed a contract extension just a few weeks back, and he'll stay at Front Row Motorsports. Obviously, Michael McDowell will take his efforts on to Spire Motorsports next year. But this is a team, Jeff, you look at these 4 races, including tonight, and clearly having a good run tonight. I don't see the speed out of McDowell at the moment to drive up 6 positions and try to win this race, but you never know what can happen. But then you would go off to Michigan, then Daytona, and to me, Daytona's the one. McDowell, a Daytona 500 champion. He knows how to win there. Todd Gilliland, the most laps he's led this year in a race, I believe, came in the Daytona 500. So I think those 2 cars could be factors to really pull some sort of a miracle with a couple of races left to get into the playoffs.
And keep in mind that Michael McDowell was a pole sitter for a couple of speedway races earlier this season. So they've got a ton of speed in their cars. They've done a really good job. I think, to your point, Daytona is going to be very interesting to see where Front Row ends up.
I got it. It's a stretch. You could see McDowell and Todd Gilliland go 1-2 working together. They're that good there. Austin Dillon is very good here, Mike Bagley. It is a Toyota, now a Chevrolet, and a Ford top three.
Yeah, right now we're watching them just work their way around the racetrack, and it's an interesting setup and an interesting dynamic. Can anyone take the win out of Denny Hamlin's sails? He's going for another win, but also can Austin Dillon put another win in his pocket and lock his way in? Because if Austin Dillon wins this race tonight, that playoff leaderboard gets turned upside down going to Michigan next week.
Yeah, definitely, and they've got the pace right now. He is running down Denny Hamlin up here in the front. It got by Joey Logano, worked really hard with him, got loose underneath him, had to kind of cool everything back down, made the run at him, closing the gap to the 11 car.
72 laps to go this time by. Here's Austin Dillon, clean racetrack, and that'll enable these two drivers to really battle for the race lead. Hamlin has it. He is going to have to play defense because on the attack is Austin Dillon.
They are separated by 3 car lengths coming back into turn number 1, and they've got a slew of lap traffic in front of him. They're not at that point yet to where they need to start passing cars, but Denny Hamlin needs to be mulling over a plan of attack to keep Austin Dillon behind him while navigating that lap traffic.
His last win was August in Daytona in 2022. He would love to go back to victory lane here tonight in Richmond. Austin Dillon closing in on the race leader, Denny Hamlin.
He has turned the wick up in the last handful of laps. Austin Dillon now shuts the separation down to 1 car length. Austin Dillon now on the back bumper of Denny Hamlin for the lead at lap 329.
It has been an impressive last 5 or 6 laps. All of a sudden, the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet of Austin Dillon cast his line, set the hook on the back bumper of Hamlin, and he's reeled him in.
Here he comes, bottom of the racetrack. Question is, does he need the net or the gaff to get him in the boat? Right now, it's Hamlin, it's Dillon. Private battle for the lead. Still, lap traffic is on the horizon.
Austin Dillon will let the car slide up the banking. He'll peek to the outside, crossover, peek now down to the inside. Separation between the top 2, just a half a car length. Dillon to the bottom of the racetrack.
Now Hamlin will throw the block, but Austin Dillon center on in there into turn number 1. He wasn't able to do anything with it, though. Hamlin took that line away as 1 lap ago, Joey Logano bailed out and went to pit road.
Along with Michael McDowell and Kyle Larson, Chris Wilner.
Joey Logano, it was a last-minute call to switch from reds to yellows. They're staying on the prime tire. Needs better turn off the corner. They made an air pressure adjustment. He's already down and away.
67 laps to go. It is Denny Hamlin by a half a car length over Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain. Your top 5. Here we go. Austin Dillon is going to take the lead because Denny Hamlin is going to come to pit road. It was 67 laps to go. Mike Bagley, Austin Dillon is leading his first lap of the season.
And right now he's all by himself on the racetrack. Question is, how long will it be before Austin comes to pit road? Right now, Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher get tangled up coming to pit road. Both those drivers had to slam on brakes, and here comes the Dillon car to pit road.
Let's go to Jason Toy.
Hamlin is in, 4 tires, Sunoco. Fuel will drop things off here. We're going to follow up here and see if they put that final set of reds on there for him because he had 1 laying there in the pit stall.
67 laps to go here in Richmond. Green flag pit stops continuing on. Carson Hocevar took his point at the top of the leaderboard. He has now come to pit lane. Christopher Bell goes back to the lead as they continue to cycle around with just 64 laps remaining. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Christopher Bell continues to show the way, down to 60 laps to go. Daniel Suarez now second. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. currently third. Ryan Blaney fourth. And Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano continue to climb the leaderboard after making pit stops. Hamlin now has just rallied up to fourth, and Logano has gone to fifth. Time now for a mid-race update brought to you by Pfizer.
We've had 8 different leaders, 19 different lead changes. A lot of those have happened due to green flag cycling pit stops. It's put Christopher Bell back out front. Again, Daniel Suarez second. Denny Hamlin, now Joey Logano fourth, as that leaderboard continues to shuffle as we work through green flag stops. And I guess the point here, you came with 2 option tires. You could use the primary or the option tire. If you've got the options left, it's time to use them.
Yeah.
Or is it?
I don't think it is yet, because we've still got 58 laps to go in the race, and I don't think that the option tire, we haven't seen it run that long today. We've seen it be in the 40 to 50 lap range. I think it's too early to put them on. I think these teams are holding on to them, hoping for a late caution to put them on then.
Boy, how good is the Austin Dillon car? He goes to work now on Joey Logano and makes the pass for the second, or check that now, for the 4th spot. Should be for 3rd, because current race leader Christopher Bell peels off the racetrack. Bell is on the pit lane.
Lap 343, the tires are already off. They're going to go back to the prime tires, those yellow sidewall-knit tires. Really fast pit stop. Christopher Bell trying to rebound from that pit road speed penalty.
And that will turn things over to Daniel Suarez as the race leader. Denny Hamlin, Mike Bagley not too far back. Then comes Austin Dillon. Then comes Joey Logano.
Austin Dillon is pouring on the coals right now. He has gotten by Logano. He has tracked down Denny Hamlin. Matter of fact, he'll follow Denny by about maybe a car length or 2 deficit with more lap traffic ahead.
You know, we were talking earlier in the broadcast, Jeff Striegel, about who could be the driver outside of the top 16 to pull off a win and really throw the playoff picture into a wrinkle. Well, what about, and why not, Austin Dillon? 32nd in the point standings is Austin Dillon. He wins this race tonight. That really turns things upside down.
Yeah, because right now Ross Chastain is sitting 16th, and well, he'd get bounced out because Austin Dillon would take his spot inside the top 16, but he's going to have to win to do that. And right now he is 3rd. The top 3 running right together. Daniel Suarez, Denny Hamlin, and Austin Dillon with 53 to go. Suarez has dropped back to position number 4. Denny Hamlin leading, but only by a car length or 2 over Austin Dillon. With 50 laps to go from Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. 47 laps to go here tonight under the lights at Richmond. Christopher Bell running 15th, just unlapped himself by driving by race leader Denny Hamlin. So again, 15 cars on the lead lap. 1 lap down, free pass position at the moment is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. How about that battle? Denny Hamlin, Alex Hayden, and Austin Dillon.
Coming up off of turn number 4, and they got a gaggle of race cars right in front of them, led by Chase Briscoe, who's in that mix. They all funnel back to the corner.
Watching what Denny Hamlin's going to do. He's going to dial up the low lane coming into turn number 1, and that's where lap traffic is now. Lap traffic double wide in front of them for just a moment. Hamlin now going to be boxed in behind this lap traffic of Briscoe and LaJoie.
LaJoie will go all the way to the top of the racetrack. Ryan Preece will take it, or make that Chase Briscoe will run side by side now right in front of the race leader.
So Denny's going to ease into the corner as LaJoie takes it all the way at the banking. Briscoe, though, still on the bottom of the racetrack coming out of 2. Here's Hamlin alongside Logano and Austin Dillon right behind Hamlin in this race for the lead.
As the 7th place car, Ryan Blaney, comes to pit lane right now. The battle for the lead comes off turn number 4. They put the lap again on Corey LaJoie, still nose to tail for the top spot.
Austin Dillon has great corner entry into 1, but Denny's got great launch at the exit of turn 2. More lap traffic in front of them, and right now it's Hamlin and Dillon right in the middle of this lap traffic soup off the end of the backstretch.
Joey Logano right now 3rd, but he is a distant 3rd to Hamlin and Dillon. Then Suarez and Tyler Reddick have a good battle going on for position number 4. Denny Hamlin, race leader, off turn 2.
Denny Hamlin, Austin Dillon in locked formation in this lap traffic that we've been talking about. Here's Dillon. He'll take a peek to the inside for a moment, finding no room to race as both Hamlin and Dillon are tracking down Chase Briscoe.
Interesting strategy just took place on the pit lane. I mentioned Ryan Blaney came to pit lane from the number 7 spot. Jason Toy, what did they do?
Had that final set of red soft tires. They put them on with 44 to go. They're going to try to make a run to the end of it.
And right now he is going to have to do it from being a lap down. But with those tires, we've seen it before. They can drive right by the race leader, which is Denny Hamlin. Austin Dillon, 2 car lengths back, will follow this battle for the lead. Denny Hamlin and Austin Dillon.
Austin Dillon did not have a good exit of turn 4 that time, and it's going to cost him about a car length, maybe 2. Hamlin and Dillon to the back straightaway, still watching the lap traffic right now being a factor. Matter of fact, Riley Herbst passing Austin Dillon and sitting between Dillon and Hamlin.
So Dillon, for the moment, will cool his jets and simply ride there. He's a good 5 car lengths or so behind them, but Dillon now is under attack from some of the cars that are a lap or more down.
Right now, they've both got their hands full as everybody just trying to wrestle for real estate. Riley Herbst has gotten fresh tires. He'll bypass Hamlin and Briscoe. Meanwhile, the leaders are being freight trained by these cars that have just come to pit road.
Isn't that interesting, Mike? Riley Herbst is 5 laps down on newer tires than the race leader, and he just drove by Denny Hamlin like he was standing still.
Amazing to watch what the impact of these new tires will do. And these are primes, these are reds, all in this mix. Right now, Herbst and Dillon, along with Briscoe, have found themselves in front of the race leaders. And right now, more lap traffic beginning to be a factor in this.
It is indeed, as laps get fewer. 38 to go. By the way, Daniel Suarez made the pit stop. They just bolted on their last set of the softer option tire. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Welcome back to Richmond Raceway with 32 laps to go. The battle for the race lead nearly side by side.
Austin Dillon trying to score the upset tonight at Richmond. He is on a full court press. Denny Hamlin's back bumper directly in front of him. Right now, this battle settles down, but Austin Dillon poised in position and ready to strike.
As he takes his car to the top side of the racetrack, we've seen this before. Now he'll cross over, look to the inside, not close enough. 31 to go. It's Hamlin and Dillon.
Dillon right now, again looking to the inside. Hamlin chops him off at the entrance of the corner. Dillon immediately washes wide, trying to get a better angle off too, but still staying with the leader stride for stride.
Match him in his tire tracks into the corner. Here comes Daniel Suarez on the fresh Goodyear tires. He'll fly around the outside and pass both cars. As a matter of fact, he makes contact with the back bumper of the Denny Hamlin race leading car. That enables Austin Dillon to come to the side.
Suarez will wedge his way to the inside and get a lap back. Here comes Austin Dillon. Tried to capitalize and do the same, but he couldn't do it. But he's still with the race leader. Gonna look low again in 4.
This time Dillon on the bottom side of the racetrack will make it stick. Side by side off 4. Not close enough. Denny Hamlin will lead the lap, but again, Austin Dillon on the bottom.
Dillon drives it deeper into 1. He's there. He's got a fender out in front, but Hamlin's going to run him hard off the exit of 2. Side by side. Austin Dillon inside. Denny Hamlin outside. Back to 3.
Wheel to wheel for the top spot. Here they come through the middle part of the corner. At the bottom of the racetrack, by a nose, it's Austin Dillon. By a quarter panel, the entire car now. Austin Dillon back to the top of the leaderboard here at Richmond.
He'll pull away by 1 car length, by 2 car lengths. Denny Hamlin slides up the racetrack, and more lap traffic has wedged themselves in between Austin Dillon and Denny Hamlin. That car is Ryan Blaney.
And we are down to 27 laps to go. The race leader here at Richmond Raceway, it's Austin Dillon over Denny Hamlin, Logano, Reddick, and Bubba Wallace at your top 5. Austin Dillon beginning to pull away now by 6 car lengths over Denny Hamlin. Logano goes 3rd. 25 to go from Richmond Raceway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Austin Dillon out front with 20 laps to go. What does he need to go to victory lane? Well, let's take a look at the keys to winning. Presented by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs. For protection on the road and on the water. See how much you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. The keys to the race brought to you by Progressive Insurance.
They were given to us by Chris Buescher on NASCAR Live Race Day. The guy who won this race a year ago said you got to have good corner entry to have a great lap here at Richmond Raceway. Also said long run speed is going to be crucial, and be good on the front end of that. Obviously, he didn't know, nor did anybody at the time, what these option tires were going to do. And right now, they are proven highly effective. Race leader is Austin Dillon by 1 full second over Denny Hamlin with 19 to go. But the car on the move, 14 seconds behind on the softer tires, the option tire. In 7th is Daniel Suarez. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. We welcome you back to Richmond Raceway. We'll get you to the track in the final 12 laps, but first we have to pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Motor Racing Network. Motor Racing Network live at Richmond Raceway for the running of the Cookout 400 for the NASCAR Cup Series, and our premier partners of the NASCAR Cup Series, Busch Light, Coca-Cola, Geico, and Xfinity. I'm Alex Hayden alongside Jeff Striegel and Todd Gordon. Mike Bagley's out in the turns on the pit lane, Jason Toy and Chris Wilner.
Well, if you're looking for a walk-off, you've got one here tonight with just 10 laps to go. Next time by, Austin Dillon, who has won 4 times at this level in his career, is out front and driving away. He came in 32nd in NASCAR Cup Series points. He's about to make himself possibly playoff eligible, and he may be racing for a championship as he comes across the line.
10 laps to go now for Austin Dillon. 2.5 second lead over second place Denny Hamlin. The car to watch, however, the fastest car on the racetrack, 9 seconds now, 8.5 seconds behind, is Daniel Suarez in 6th. He came to pit road, did Suarez on lap 360, and put on those softer option tires and has been knifing his way up the leaderboard.
The other thing we want to add about Austin Dillon, the pit crew, Austin getting it done behind the wheel, Mike Bagley. The crew for Austin Dillon, the best on the property tonight. It's all working together for Austin Dillon.
And this is what they've been trying to do all year long. They've said they've made mistakes. They have given away opportunities. Well, tonight, it's time to collect because Austin Dillon, if he wins this race, is going to turn this whole playoff storyline upside down as we head to the Irish Hills of Michigan next week.
So Chris Wilner in the pit box, what are the nerves like in the Austin Dillon pit?
I don't think any crew member, Alex, has fingernails that are left. There are members that are pacing. Richard Childress making his way over to the box as well. Justin Alexander left the box, put his hands in his head. He can't believe what's going on. They're coaching Austin right now. Just came over the radio his spotter, Brandon Manesh, who was giving him the gap back to Daniel Suarez. He said, buddy, you're good if you hit your marks. 7 laps to go for Austin Dillon.
And I don't think Suarez will be a factor in this one any longer. He's 7 seconds back. He may be the fastest car on the racetrack, but Mike Bagley, laps are winding down, and Dillon is out front, and he's comfortable out there.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be too much, too little, too late for Daniel Suarez. What a valiant effort, though. But the most supreme effort of them all goes to Austin Dillon. And that number 3 team, right now, these have to be the longest laps of his life as he tries to put them together and win this race tonight in the Commonwealth.
5 laps to go in Richmond. The top 5 at the moment: Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, and Bubba Wallace. Austin Dillon off turn number 2.
Here he comes to the back straightaway. Denny Hamlin is fading and is not a factor. All Austin Dillon has to do is put together a solid 4.5 lap run to score this win tonight under the lights in Richmond.
And hope for no caution flag. He is in a heavy pack of traffic right now, is Austin Dillon. He's got Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in front of him. He's got Ryan Preece in front of him and others.
He's got a lot of lap traffic to deal with. Just tiptoe your way through, bring that car home in one piece, maintain the speed. It may sound simple, but it's a tall task because he is knee deep. He is eyeball deep in lap traffic right now.
3 to go for the 3 Chevrolet with Austin Dillon behind the wheel, off 4 and across the start-finish line. He has nobody behind him. Denny Hamlin is fading. All he's got to do is negotiate traffic.
And that lap traffic is really stacked up in front of Austin. He'll bring it to the bottom of the racetrack off turn 2. He'll make his way onto the back straightaway. He's not pushing the point, and he's not putting himself in any binds to perhaps maybe put that car in a perilous position.
Not a bit. As a matter of fact, Stenhouse is going to look to the inside of Preece right in front of race leader Austin Dillon. 2 laps to go here in Richmond. Oh, trouble now. Turn right in front of the race leader. Those 2 cars, Stenhouse and Preece, got together side by side and went up the banking, slammed the safer barrier right in front of the race leader, Austin Dillon.
Caution flag number 3 as they would be coming around right now to take the white flag, but hold on, because the yellow flag is waving. The yellow lights are on in disbelief down on pit road. Don't go anywhere. Austin Dillon was on his way to victory lane, but not so fast. We'll be back with more in a moment. Do they come to pit road? Do they not come to pit road? Right now, the red lights are still on. We're going to hang for just a moment to see whether or not we go green and bring them down pit road, or not? Not this time. We'll be back. All right, now we hear that it's going to open up. Who comes to pit road? They've got the option tire available if they want it. We're headed to overtime. Dillon will make the decision, and here he comes. He's going to bring Denny Hamlin. He'll bring Joey Logano and others on to pit road. It is on pit road where the action is right now. Chris Wilner.
This is the money stop. Can the Richard Childress Racing crew give Austin Dillon the momentum he needs? The red tires, the option tires being bolted on for this sprint to the finish. It's a clean stop so far to the left side. Goodyear Eagles are on. Sunoco fuels in, and they're punching down and away. Jason.
Denny Hamlin's going to have pit stall number 1. The crew goes to work on the right side. That final set of red, soft Goodyear Racing Eagles are there. A little bit of fuel, a little bit of Sunoco fuel going in. Left side tires go on. Denny Hamlin's not going to win the race off. Austin Dillon gets it off pit road. Joey Logano noses out in front of Denny Hamlin.
The pit stops take place here under the green light as the pit lane was open. Austin Dillon's pit crew have been the best on 4 tire changes all night long. They get the job done again as we're headed for overtime. From Richmond Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. Richmond Raceway is where we are in the Cookout 400. It will be extended into overtime after the 2-car crash right in front of then race leader Austin Dillon. The subsequent pit stops to put on that final set of brand new Goodyear Eagle option tires for those that had them. And Austin Dillon's pit crew gets the job done. He'll be the race leader and, more importantly, Jeff, the control car for the restart.
We're going to see about 200 cars take the wave around that did not pit that will do that right now. All right, so one of the things that we need to keep in mind, and you had the perfect call, that crash up in turn 1 and 2 took place directly in front of Austin Dillon. It could have collected Austin Dillon. He took the evasive move down to the bottom of the racetrack, cleared the accident scene that was taking place as it climbed the banking and then got into the outside safer barrier. Now he's got one, then you go to pit road. And as you pointed out, the best crew all night did their job again, led by Jason Alexander. And now he's got one more decision that could determine going to victory lane or not, and that is where you choose to restart, inside or outside. I've got to believe he's going to go outside.
I do too, because off of turn 2, that seems to be the big momentum coming off of turn 2. Let's talk about those pit stops. A 9.6 second stop for the 3 team to a 10.6 second stop for the 22, the 11 car at a 10.8. That's the slowest stop of the day for the 3 car was a 9.8. All 9 second stops.
On average tonight, 9.71 seconds on a 4-tire change on pit road for the pit crew for Austin Dillon and that Bass Pro Shops Hunting Sale Chevrolet. What a night this team has had, let alone the driver. The team has had a fantastic race weekend.
And now it is all on his shoulders. His being Austin Dillon. He will make the decision right now, inside or out. He is going to go to the bottom of the racetrack. Wow, that is the first time I think we've seen that done this weekend. Dillon electing to restart inside row 1, Logano outside. Row 2, Hamlin and Tyler Reddick. Row 3, Bubba Wallace and Daniel Suarez. The rest of the cars on the lead lap. Chastain, Blaney, Larson, and Bell. That's your top 10. Michael McDowell, Carson Hocevar, Josh Berry, Chase Elliott, William Byron, Kyle Busch 16th on the lead lap. Todd Gilliland, Brad Keselowski, and his teammate Chris Buescher. 19 cars on the lead lap. Austin Dillon electing to start inside row 1. Can he make it pay off? It'll be Chevrolet on the bottom, Ford on the top with Joey Logano. Then the Toyotas of Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick. We're headed to overtime.
Green, white, checker. Here they go. Pace car hits the pit lane. Back to the Geico restart zone. Austin Dillon dragging. Late to get on the gas. He does so late in the zone. Joey Logano will match him stride for stride, side by side for the race lead.
They toggle the lead back and forth between Logano and Dillon. Logano's got the advantage. Logano's got the lead on the back straightaway. Dillon falls to second. Hamlin's in third off the end of the backstretch.
White flag will be waving as they come off of turn number 4, led by Joey Logano. He'll lead them. Austin Dillon goes second. Denny Hamlin is third.
Final time off the end of the front straightaway. Joey Logano dives it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Austin Dillon is with him, but Austin's fading. Austin will fade by a car length. Joey Logano leads back to 3.
Here comes Austin Dillon. He gets in the back of Joey Logano. Logano spins to the bottom. Denny Hamlin, he gets collected by Dillon. Checkered flag is out. Austin Dillon wins in a thriller in the Cookout 400. Joey Logano was the leader going into turn 3. Austin Dillon with a bonsai move got into the back bumper of Logano, turned Joey Logano in turn 4. That opened up the bottom side of the racetrack for Denny Hamlin. He came off turn 4 as the leader. They made contact again, did Dillon and Hamlin. Hamlin slams the outside wall, and going from 32nd into points and racing into playoffs, Austin Dillon wins the Cookout 400.
And I will tell you this, it is not over, not by a long shot, as Joey Logano obviously very upset. Denny Hamlin, more than likely, he'll be upset. Austin Dillon is celebrating. Let's go to victory, or let's go to pit road.
The scene down here, Jeff Striegel, is
to show
unlike
you how
anything.
easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired a soap opera star.
Gracious me, my car has stolen.
As the founder of Bass Pro Shops is here, Justin Alexander climbing off the pit box after he watched his driver get the win. Justin, a lot happened, but what is going through your mind? Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I can't thank everybody enough on this Bass Pro Chevrolet. I didn't think we had a shot going into 3, and then, I don't know, something happened, I didn't even see it, but man, I'm just so proud of everybody. It's great.
What does this mean to you? At all the hardships this year, to walk it off like this, 32nd in points, you guys are going playoff racing.
Man, it's just what we do, man. We come back and I don't know. I don't even know what to think right now.
All right, Justin Alexander, he's going to collect his thoughts. The whole crew going out to celebrate with Austin Dillon.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover here. Mike Bagley and Alex Hayden with the call. Austin Dillon with the win. It is career win number 5 for Austin Dillon.
NASCAR Live Race Day continues on the Motor Racing Network.
408 laps, and it all came down to the last 100 yards off of turn number 4 when Dillon, well, there's no doubt about it, got into race leader Joey Logano, turned him into the outside wall, and then came back down the racetrack, Austin did, to collect Denny Hamlin, who was headed to victory lane, and then Dillon able to get to the line first. Joey Logano stopped his car. That's where it is right now. Smack dab in front of the 3 pit of Austin Dillon. Denny Hamlin did virtually the same thing and then drove away. This one, this is going to be interesting.
It is. And, you know, that's short track racing. Logano and Hamlin both have wins. They are playoff drivers. The scenario for Austin Dillon, this may very well been their best and only shot to be a playoff contending team. In their eyes, you got to do what you've got to do. Here's the problem, though, is they have created enemies with 2 different race teams out there moving forward. The bottom line, though, is Austin Dillon's going to be a playoff driver, and he's playing with house money from here on out.
Yeah, and for Logano, you know, it's one thing to get into him and move him. In this particular case, Logano up the racetrack, slamming the outside wall. Let's hear from Joey Logano.
Joey Logano out of the race car. I know you're frustrated. How do you describe what happened?
It's a joke. The whole thing's a joke. I got nothing good to say.
Where do you go on from here? Is there a conversation? Is it fair game moving forward?
There's nothing to say, nothing to talk about.
Does he have one coming to him?
He didn't even freaking close. He knows what he did.
Does he have one? How do you move forward in the playoffs when you race him?
I'm going to go win. You got one robbed today. What do you want me to do? I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? I'm going to wreck him? Is that what you want me to say? I'm not going to say that. I got to go race. I got to go win.
I understand. Thank you. Joey Logano, visibly frustrated, guys, out of the race car. He did do a burnout right in the pit stall of Austin Dillon as his crew was running across to celebrate. He got talked to by a NASCAR official, but visibly and just emotionally frustrated Joey Logano, and the story will continue as the season continues between Joey Logano and Austin Dillon.
He's right. I mean, he's absolutely right. Yes, Austin Dillon drove it in to turn number 3 and punted Logano. Different stories out there and how it plays out. Ross Chastain, here's how they finished, by the way. Top 5, it was Austin Dillon the win. Tyler Reddick was 2nd. Denny Hamlin 3rd. Bubba Wallace 4th. And Jason Toy. Ross Chastain was 5th.
He works his way in here. Congratulations on a top 5 run. I looked up there on that restart. You were starting back at 10th. You went up on the outside. What did you see in front of you when the curtains opened for you?
Well, first off, I saw that I wasn't involved in it, so they can all go fight, and I can just take a nice top 5. It's so refreshing, Jason, to be just to run in an average position all night with a 1 in front of it, and then finish single digit. It's just it's so refreshing right now to have that for our jockey Chevy. A lot more pace and a lot more just running position of where we should be, and the car's still tight. It's still loose, and it's not like we magically fixed anything. We just had a lot more pace to do what we want to do and what we've been missing for a few months. So a whole night to drive to 11th in stage 1, run around there, and then be able to execute there late. And we were going to run 7th with a set of reds laying, and it was killing me in the car that we were going to leave those in the pits, and then we were able to put them on there for that green, white, checkered.
Good job. Brings it up in the top 5 here today for Ross Chastain. As we slide back here real quick, we'll grab a quick word with Bubba Wallace as he has jumped out of the ride here, and we'll grab a word with Bubba here. And all right, when the curtain parted open there and you saw everything happening in front of you, what did you see here on that final lap? And congratulations on your top 5.
Thank you. I just seen the 11 going to win it, and I'm like, sweet. Well, I seen the 22 going to win it, and we're not naive. I thought he'd give him a shot. I didn't think he'd wreck him. He gave him a shot and wrecked him, and then hooked the 11. So retaliation's retaliation. I don't care if it's Vegas or if it's Richmond. You mess up or you feel like you got wronged and you retaliate. I set out a week for that. So chicken shit move. But hey, whatever it takes to win and get in the playoffs, that's what it shows.
Right now you're above that cut line, which is a good thing. We apologize there with Bubba Wallace as he wraps things up here, finishing up in the top 5. While we got a quick moment, we'll grab a word with Tyler Reddick as he brings it home in that top 5 spot here for Tyler Reddick, and talking things over here a little bit. And Tyler, you finish up in that top 5 there, and a lot of action in front of you there on that final lap in there. But what about your ride tonight?
Yeah, Mobile One Toyota Camry was really solid. Crazy way for it to end there, wild watching that play out, but yeah, we'll take second. Was hoping, am hoping, I guess, that NASCAR realizes that right hooking somebody should be disqualification. It typically is, right? So don't know why it's any different tonight, but it shredded for some excitement.
All right, there you go. Tyler Reddick, third place here tonight.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. Austin Dillon, by the way, coming up in victory lane momentarily. Austin Dillon celebrating his win tonight from fielding your favorite NASCAR teams to filling up at the pump. Sunoco is trusted to help vehicles perform at their peak. Sunoco, performance is what we do.
Let's hear from Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin scored second. Okay, I don't even know where to begin on that last restart, but what was your vantage point when the seas parted? Did you think you have a shot?
Yeah, I thought I had a shot. Once I saw how far the 3 was going to go to wipe the 22 out, I thought I had a shot, but I was just kind of minding my own business down there in the bottom and got hooked in the right rear, and so unfortunate, it just killed our car, it killed my shoulder, and then just tough ending for sure.
How do you break down the finish, what Austin Dillon did to Joey? I mean, is that fair game?
It's an invisible line in our rule book, right? There's provisions to cover it if NASCAR chose to do something about it, but they're not, right? Because we've seen in other series and year after year, they watch things like that and they think it's okay, and it's just giving a terrible example for the young group out there. But Austin goes from 30th in points to now he's going to be in the top 16, and so no matter what repercussions he might have down the line, it doesn't matter because it was worth it from their standpoint, which I understand that. So it's just part of it. It's hard to take some of these finishes seriously, and my parents always used to say, if you want to act like a grown-up, if you want to sit at the grown-up's table, you got to act like a grown-up, and our series just has gone to a terrible place in allowing stuff like this, but it's this is where we're at.
Appreciate your time. We'll see you, Michigan.
You got it.
Denny Hamlin, guys, comes home second. Good perspective there of all the chaos that happened here at Richmond.
Now let's hear from the winner, Austin Dillon, in victory lane with Jason Toy.
He jumps in out of victory lane here, Mobile One victory lane here at the Richmond Raceway for Austin Dillon. Career win number 5, confetti flying, Coca-Cola flying everywhere else. And he's getting pelted with milkshakes from Cookout. That's going to be a hard one to wash out here. I don't think he matters on that one. And have you ever been pelted with milkshakes in victory lane?
That's a first, but it feels good. I tell you what, be pelted with anything when you get a win like the season we've had, and man, a good Lord above just blessed us today. That was, we had a fast car, and man, I hated to see that caution come out. Knew it was going to be wild, and coming to the last corner, I just had to go for it. It was our opportunity. You don't get many of those, and that's what our partners and my family and RCR wants us to do, is try and go get a win. So I just had to go send it.
All right, well, you sent it in there. You hit the 22. You got the 11 on the front stretch, too. Obviously, they're not saying kind things right now. How do you race now as you head towards the playoffs with those guys, knowing what could happen?
They shouldn't say nice things, I mean, it's racing, and, both of them have been in the other end of other things like that. It's my first time, and, man, when I get an opportunity, I just got to be aggressive. I see these guys do it a lot, often. My move was pretty aggressive. The 11 was just a reaction as I was coming back left. 22, I definitely was trying to get him loose. But, man, we're in we want to race.
You're a baseball guy. How about a walk-off homer? How's that?
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take it. That's what we needed.
There you go. Austin Dillon picks up his first win on a short track, and he picks up his 5th win overall. But this one's a big one. It gets him into the playoffs.
Yeah, his last win before that was going all the way back to Daytona, August of 2022. But tonight it's all about Austin Dillon. They'll be talking about this tomorrow morning at the water cooler. That's for sure. Dillon getting the win. Today's Xfinity fastest lap goes to Denny Hamlin. Xfinity keeps NASCAR fans in the zone with ultra-low lag and connection you can rely on. Stream NASCAR from the best seat in the house with Xfinity, because you only live once. Learn more at Xfinity.com.
About 150 yards away from a victory was Joey Logano. His crew chief, Paul Wolf, now standing there looking at a beat-up race car, and Chris Wilner is there.
That's right. The tow truck's got the front end on the hook as Paul Wolf looks on. How do you digest what happened? We heard from Joey, but sitting up on the pit box, you're mere hundreds of yards away from a victory, and then it all goes away.
Yeah, I was still trying to take it all in, to be honest with you. It was a, we had a strong Shell Pennzoil Ford all night. We had the variable of the option tire tonight, which that changed the whole game for us and how we called the race, and trying to get all that right definitely made it more challenging for all the teams when to run the tires and when not to, and depending on what you had for track position. We saw a lot of different things work. So you just put a lot into it. This is something NASCAR wanted to do to make the racing better, the option tire, and I think all the teams have been embracing it and trying to do a good job, and I thought we had a good race going. And then what it turned into at the end is it's just a joke, to call that racing anymore. And at some point, it's up to NASCAR to step up and set the precedent. What's acceptable, and to call that acceptable is, I don't know how anyone that has watched racing for any amount of time can put in all the hard work and all the effort, money, everyone what goes into this. It was a tough race, and something like that. That's not racing. And at some point, NASCAR is going to have to make the right call on these things, and they missed it tonight with allowing that and giving that car the win.
And I know the emotions are high, but how do you and Joey discuss this moving forward? Because obviously now you're going to have to race Austin when we go to the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it's up to NASCAR to get this under control. If NASCAR controls this, then this is never a problem. But now you get into this, I owe him one, and that whole game. That's not racing. At some point, we're still a racing series, I thought. We're just going to fill things with gimmicks and wreck people to win. That's not right. That's not racing. We all put too much into this. Like I said, there's a lot of sponsors putting a lot into this, backing us, and to come out here and do a professional job. That's not professional, what happened tonight. And if NASCAR thinks that's professional, then we've really lost sight of what's going on here.
All right, thank you, Paul, for your time, guys. Paul Wolf visibly upset after that finish.
Yeah, and we get it. You're driving up and down the highway, and you're looking for Alex and I and Mike and the rest of the team to paint the picture for you. And I think it bears repeating. Let's go back. Alex Hayden and Todd, I know you're standing by. I want your perspective from the 3 team, and I'm going to turn right around and say I want your perspective from the 22. The 22 of Logano, the 3 of Dillon. We've seen it numerous times where a driver will get into the back of the car in front of them, rub bumpers, move them, loosen them up, move them up the racetrack. That driver maintains control, comes back down, finishes behind the other guy, maybe loses a spot or two. That is not what we just saw here, going into 3 and finishing it off in turn number 4. You used the word punted. I think it's the right word. Joey Logano got jacked up, moved, and stuffed in the fence.
He was wrecked. He was wrecked tonight. We'll start, okay? If I'm Austin Dillon, I'm 32nd in the points. I had the best car I've had in 2 years. And my real chance to get into the playoffs for Johnny Morris, who, by the way, Johnny Morris is here tonight, the owner of Bass Pro Shops. These people that are paying us to do a job, I had to do what I had to do, given the fact that what we heard Paul Wolf and Logano and Hamlin say, that right now is well within the rules.
Yeah, and that's the piece. But you've got to go back. What he needed to do was take the outside on the restart and not put himself – he made a mistake. And that's one of the things that happened here. He made a mistake and gave away control of the race. And instead of just taking the fact that he made the mistake, he dumped the 22 car. Now you talked about it. Now it's kind of a fine line for me because we won Martinsville in 2018, massaging Martin Truex Jr. off the bottom. We raced side by side off the corner, and Martin, if he doesn't try to door us, I think beats us to the line. But that to me is still racing. This was a situation. He's 3 car lengths back. There's no way he makes that corner if the 22 doesn't end up wrecking. And that's why the 11 was going to pass him, because he had no momentum to make the corner. To me, it's where we are with the win and you're in has rewarded really drastic moves like this. And we heard it from Denny, we heard it from Paul, and I think it's a valid point. At what point do we need to get control of this from a sanctioning body?
But part of it is the race fans. Some fans are going to love it. Some fans are going to hate it. If you're a fan of Austin Dillon or a fan of Richard Childress Racing and a guy named Dale Earnhardt that used to drive a 3-car that did very similar, if not exact same types of things.
Bristol, Terry Labonte.
Yeah, I mean.
rattles cage, right?
There are people that say that's how this sport was built and the popularity grew because Dale Earnhardt in a 3-car used to wreck people to win races, and people loved it. So there is going to be on which side of the coin do you fall on how this plays out.
You got more thoughts on that, Todd?
Yeah, we're at a point today. I mean, if Joey Logano gets hurt in that situation, what do you do about it? At what point do you draw the line that's where one of these things is. I don't blame Austin Dillon for what he did today. And that's the way our playoff format is situated. He was 32nd in points. The only chance he had of making a win out of the season, and there's a lot. I mean, there's sponsorship deals that are tied to playoff berths. Lots. There can be millions of dollars tied into how this all happens. You have to do the things to support your company. It's just unfortunate that this is the way it rolled out when he had such a good run going before we had that last restart.
And I just think it bears repeating, and then we'll put a bow on it. With 2 laps to go, the green-white checker overtime finish and the opportunity to select inside or outside, to go inside, shocked me. I mean, obviously, I said he's going to go outside. This isn't even a debate. And then to see him pull down to the inside really had me scratching my head, because we've seen it all weekend long. Outside is going to lead off turn number 2. You give that up. Don't know exactly what he was thinking. I would like to know. But, we won't know right now. That set us up for what we saw coming to the checkered flag.
It was, and the bottom line is there's going to be thousands of race fans that leave the property tonight either happy, mad, sad, but they're going to talk about it. And that's one thing about it. There is also that line of thinking, I'm on side A or I'm on side B of how this played out, but there's some people on side C that simply say, hey, any publicity is good publicity. This is something that's going to be talked about and replayed time and time and time again.
ESPN top 10 list, I'm pretty sure it's going to make that, and it will be talked about by race fans coast to coast, all over. Every race fan, doesn't matter where you live, we'll be talking about this one here tonight at Richmond that sees Austin Dillon go to victory lane. Final thoughts from the crew chief, Todd Gordon.
Bubba Wallace put together another solid run, put himself above the cut line. Now that we've bumped the 3-car into it, Bubba Wallace leapfrogged Chris Buescher and Ross Chastain with a solid points night. He scored the 4th most points, I think 42 points tonight.
It took 408 laps to run the Cookout 400, and here's how they finished tonight.
Austin Dillon is the driver that is celebrating right now in victory lane with the win. Denny Hamlin rallies back after getting crashed. He came across the line second in front of Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace. Ross Chastain completes the top 5. Christopher Bell was 6th. Kyle Larson was 7th. Carson Hocevar had a great night tonight. Top 10 finish. He was 8th. Chase Elliott was 9th, and Daniel Suarez was 10th.
Ryan Blaney was 11th. Kyle Busch was 12th. William Byron 13th. Josh Berry was 14th, and Michael McDowell 15th. Todd Gilliland 16th. Brad Keselowski 17th, and Chris Buescher was 18th. Joey Logano ended up 19th. 20th was Noah Gragson, and that's how the top 20 wrapped up.
21st went to Chase Briscoe. Ty Gibbs was 22nd. Zane Smith, 23rd. And Austin Cindric was 24th. Ryan Preece, 25th. Ty Dillon, 26th. Justin Haley, 27th. Alex Bowman, 28th. Eric Jones, 29th. And Daniel Hemrick was 30th.
John Hunter Nemechek, 31st. Harrison Burton, 32nd. Riley Herbst was 33rd. Corey LaJoie was 34th. Parker Retzlaff in his Cup Series debut was 35th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 36th. And Martin Truex Jr. ended up in 37th.
I was just thinking that 5 hours ago we were all talking about the Olympics. I have a feeling we'll be talking about NASCAR not only tomorrow, but in the weeks to come. Your final thoughts, Alex. We wrap up here. We move on to the Irish Hills. Michigan International Speedway lies ahead. We're headed to Daytona Beach, Florida. Daytona, then on to Darlington for the great one down there, a crown jewel event. That's our next 3.
Time to stop, recharge again. I know we've said that a lot coming out of the break. Now, after what we all experienced tonight, there are some teams in particular, like Hamlin's team and Logano's team and Austin Dillon's team. They're going to have to stop, take a deep breath, and try to refocus now on the job at hand. 3 races remain before the playoffs are set. Right now, Chris Buescher and Ross Chastain are 3 points out. Bubba Wallace is the last car in, 3 points to the good. Ty Gibbs only 19 points to the good. And after a last place finish with engine failure, Martin Truex still hanging in there, 78 points to the good.
Thank you to Craig Moore. He is our audio engineer. He is back home in Charlotte, North Carolina. Steve Fridley behind me is our broadcast engineer. To my right is Julian Council, our producer. Great job. Thank you to all 3 of you. Jason Toy and Chris Wilner had you covered all weekend long. They were down on pit road. Mike Bagley with the amazing calls all weekend long from outside of turn number 3. Upstairs, thank you to Todd Gordon, the championship-winning crew chief. My broadcast partner, his name is Alex Hayden. My name is Jeff Striegel. All of us with the Motor Racing Network, thank you for joining us this weekend, and we congratulate Austin Dillon. It's career win number 5. Austin Dillon wins the Cookout 400 at Richmond Raceway.
Motor Racing Network's coverage of the Cookout 400 has come to you from Richmond Raceway. Follow NASCAR every day at MRN.com. This broadcast was a production of the Motor Racing Network.